Now you're starting to see that all of the latent threats in Dr. Reason's Swiss cheese model is starting to add up. But we haven't even gotten to the worst point yet. At time 02:12 and 47 seconds, the first GPWS warning
pull up
can be heard in the cockpit. That happens almost simultaneously as the first officer calls out level off, but the captain just continues his downward spiral. The first officer now intervenes by giving full left side stick, trying to get the aircraft out of the right-hand turn, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to pull up from the dive. Instead, while putting the side stick into the full left position, he inadvertently actually puts it into a position where he increases the pitch down even further. And also the dual input warning, which would have highlighted to the captain that the first officer was also inputting, couldn't be heard because the GPWS warning had a higher priority, thus cancelling out the dual input warning.
Oh, I see that lantern trimmed low, burning in our home. And though I feel like crying, I swear tonight I'll cry no more. And how many times have I prayed that I will get lost along the way? Dream with the feathers of angels stuck beneath your head. The regulator swinging pendulum. Dream with the feathers of angels stuck beneath your head. The regulator swinging pendulum. Come with me and walk the longest mile. Come with me and walk the longest mile.
It's kind of a shame to interrupt Clutch, but there is a show to do, chat. There is a show to do. Well, I suppose everyone and their wife and their kids and their mom and dad and lawyer and postman, everyone in the whole world knows by now. That's the weird thing about doing a stream that's at a fixed schedule. Something happens that's really big, and you just wait. You wait 2 more days to talk about it. Actually, I didn't. I went on the Kino Casino to talk to PPP and Andy Worski. PPP was kind enough to apologize to me for some stuff that has happened in the past. So I finally felt at ease to cross the bridge, say hello to other chats. There's an increasingly small circle of people who I can speak to. Everyone seems to go up in flames and self-immolate and or associate with pedophiles or something. So it's like, well, I mean, they've been at it for a couple years now, and nothing stupendously terrible has happened. So I suppose. Let's see. So, yes, obviously, Rekieta and his wife are in jail. This is another stream where I'm just gonna talk about Rekieta for 2 hours, I guess, because I mean, there's some other stuff that I want to talk about, but it's just gonna be completely overshadowed to the point where it's like, why even bother? I should just save all that for Tuesday, I guess. So I suppose. Since everybody, I mean, literally, it's like I made the joke about the Left 4 Dead zombie thing after that stream, but now it's just chaos. He's in the New York Post. Tim Pool's talking about him. The Quartering's talking about him. All the Law 2 people are talking about him. Sean's already done a stream on him. Medicare is doing a double feature. Instead of talking about Patrick Tomlinson either today or tomorrow, he's talking about both of them. Like, everybody is like the lanterns of fucking Gondor are lit. The horde is coming. It's over. There's no point. So I might as well just do my 2 cents. And as it turns out, this is another one of those things where it's like something incredible has happened, and I happen to be near or adjacent to it because of my own stupidity, my own flaws in networking choices. So as a result, kind of reminds me of the Christian arrest a little bit, where everyone's talking about this just as like a third party. It's like, well, I know that guy. I still have him on Signal. I could message him theoretically. It wouldn't get answered because he's in jail. But on the 23rd, yeah, yesterday, at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Rekieta and his wife and April Imholt, as I've discovered, his name is pronounced Imholt, were arrested for 2 different charges. All 3 were arrested for possession of a scheduled narcotic between schedules 1 and 5, and both of the Rekietas were charged with I forgot the name of it, a complicating charge. They had a firearm in possession or near the drugs, and so they have that as aggravating. They have an aggravating charge of a firearm possession while in possession of a controlled substance. These are not minor charges. The narcotics charge has a maximum sentence of 5 years and $10,000 fine. But the real scary one is the gun possession, and in combination with the drugs, because that has a minimum sentence of 3 years. Meaning, if they choose to charge him and they are found guilty, minimum sentencing. And minimum sentencing is done to prevent sympathetic judges from putting thugs or letting thugs out of jail and stuff. So the laws are that's like a tough on crime type of law. And it's not one that you want. It's very bad. So he's facing serious time, but I think you should very quickly, I think you should taper your expectations, because chances are, just because they're both family people, they have a bunch of kids that rely on them, and because this is a first offense, and I think they were at their home when they were arrested, what they're probably going to do is either allow them to plead out for just the felony, so they lose their guns, exactly like what they did with Ralph, and they'll probably put them on probation with like supervised release for rehab or whatever with the drug charge. So let me just go through my notes real quick so I don't miss anything, because there's 2 parts to this. First of all, you've seen the mugshot. The thing I want to point out with that is he's wearing his mugshot. In this, he's wearing this fucking wife beater, and you can tell that's the Jamaican flag wife beater that he wore on like all these disaster streams, and I think he bought it at Hedonism. So he's wearing like the absolute trashiest thing that he could have possibly worn in his mugshot, and it really is just kind of amazing. How serendipitous it is that the Hedonism wife beater made it into the mugshot, because that's like a classic. It's like the Christian classic. Like if you were gonna pick any like Rekieta's clothes aren't necessarily something that is very particular to him, but the one that stands out in memory is the fucking Jamaican wife beater, because it just looks so trashy. He wears them on all those swinging streams too, when he's in the hot tub or whatever on his back porch with the Imholtz or whoever. He's always in this fucking trashy wife beater, so it's kind of amazing. Someone else looked at the house on Google Maps, and as it turns out, Rekieta's house is on a street that's a dead end. So you have this really nice photo of the street signs that warning you that you're approaching a dead end. That's pretty funny as well. Do we have a Baldo ham? I think we do have a Baldo ham. Hold up. I swear. Oh, do I have it in stream? Oh no, I guess not. I thought I had a Baldo ham though. I guess I didn't will such terrible things into existence. I don't have it. Sorry to disappoint. So, this led to a lot of speculation. I think one of the things that prompted the most speculation is just that, if I can pull this up, there was a very interesting thing where he and his wife and April were booked independently. Rekieta and April were booked at, as you can see here, at almost exactly 10 a.m., and then his wife was booked a full hour and a half later. and this led to a lot of rampant speculation as to what exactly happened. There was speculation that she was in the hospital first before they booked her. There was some speculation that they were like, for instance, they had like a DV and they pulled guns on each other. So it was like Rekieta and April had a gun, and then she also had a gun, and they were both arrested separately. However, I think that the most likely outcome, knowing what I know now, is that they did not book Kayla until after she had contacted her their relatives, and found someone who on short notice could take 5 children in the middle of the morning on a Wednesday. It's like, well, what the fuck do you do? So I think that she was allowed to remain out of custody, like with the police supervising her at the house, as she made some very grim calls in the middle of the day to a bunch of horrified family members to try and figure out who could come in town to pick them up, and so on. So that's what I think happened. I think they were probably all 3 booked collectively for the same charges. It just so happened that her booking time is later because she was with the police officers for an hour and a half waiting for somebody to come out from out of town to pick up the kids. Really, really fucking grim. I think that was like the really terrible thing. It's like, it's fun to make fun of Kayla and Rekieta for, I say Rekieta, they're both Reketas. Kayla and Nick for being like colossal fuck ups who just allowed this to happen. Like, just literally allowed this to happen. As much as I like, I'm sympathetic to Kayla because I kind of feel like it was his idea the entire way, but she really didn't put her foot down. And I think that Mama Bear should have put her foot down at some point and be like, no, you're 40 and we've been married for 20 years, but you still have minor children under the age of 10. So you're going to put off the swinging and the hard drugs for another 12 years at least. And then after that, if you want to go fuck your life up in your 50s, you can go do that. But I am simply not permitting you to do that now. I think that if she had put her foot down more, there would have been a delayed reaching this stage would have taken some time, but she was definitely like along for the ride, as indicated by the charges that she has. And you can really tell just like with her picture. It's kind of like each picture tells like a different story. It's kind of interesting. I'll start with April. She's just like sad. She's 29 years old. You can tell she's got like puffy crying eyes. She's like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such a fool. Rekieta, he has a black eye. And he had a black eye on his last stream. So the black eye wasn't one of the... I thought that was part of the incident, but it's not. He had a black eye on his stream before he got arrested. So somebody gave him a black eye. It's unknown who. And at this point, you might even speculate that it's one of his older sons who punched him in the fucking face. Or it could have been either of these people. It's unknown exactly who punched Rekieta. I just know that it was before he got arrested. But his face is like irritated. I can kind of just read his mind, and it says to me that he knows that this is going on the internet. So it's like, is it okay? Fine, you guys want the news hamster? I'll put the news hamster up. He can help with the news that Rekieta has fucked up his whole life. So Rekieta, I think he here is mostly annoyed that this is going to like damage his internet reputation. That's just what it says to me. He's like cocky and irritated. Kayla looks fucking strung out. She looks terrible. I mentioned this with Pay, but in case you're wondering, that's a cherry blossom tree tattoo on her chest plate. I think that she's, if you don't remember, and I think this is kind of worth just going over the timeline so I can explain to you how my read on her face. It requires like a full explanation of like the timeline. So initially, early on, Rekieta got into, and I'm going to blame anime completely on this, just so you know, if you watch anime, this is your fate. He got into the anime stuff to try and pander more to the Vic Mignogna crowd. And he goes to these anime conventions, and there's like all these anime girls and cosplay girls that are like stepping on him at conventions. So I think, and she was along for that. One of the women stepping on him in that famous picture is Kayla. So she's complicit with that. And then he's like, oh, well, if she's not jealous when I'm being stepped on by other women. And then he opens up his locals chat. And in the locals chat, he has all these women who are like middle-aged. They called them the wine-aunts. All these wine-aunts in the locals chat that were like sending lewd images and like pictures of their tits and stuff to him through private messages. And so I think that the fact then she noticing that her husband is like actively engaging these women in his private messages, she also starts participating. She starts posting like pictures of herself, and this is around the time, by the way, that Ricada made that statement that I have my wife has 5 kids. Her body is destroyed. And then sometime after that, she has cosmetic surgery. She has like a tummy tuck, and I think she also has a facelift. You can see how she kind of has like this frozen like surprise in her eyebrows, and that's a sign that they've pulled up the skin of the face and it raises the eyebrows and gives you kind of more like it gives you a more expressive look, but it also makes you look more surprised just in general. So I think that that's a facelift. Uh, so the okay, what was I saying? Okay, so she's like trying to like show off her body again, like in these messages, which also just continues to open the door for Ricada. So now his wife is like actively competing with other women again, even though they've been married for 20 years. So then he's like, well, let's do some in real life exhibitionism. Let's go hang out in like pubs, and then let's go to like this hedonism event in Jamaica. It would be totally private, like far away from everybody we know. So they go to hedonism, and we know they went to hedonism because people in the Kiwi farms locked it down, like where they went, what country they were in. Uh, just so you guys know, there is a hearing. The hearing is live, but Nick is not going to be in that. I can pull this up on stream and listen to it, but I don't think Nick was going to be in this because of the charges. I think that it's sealed. Like the hearing will be going on all day, and my speculation is that because of the hearing, like they have an entire jail full of people, so they're going to go through this, and they're going to process all the inmates. And I think that for Ricada's thing, it will simply be squelched. I'm signing in right now. I have the Zoom meeting ready to go, and I'll click join. Oh. It says join audio. Let me make sure that this is. What do you mean it's over? Pull up the other stream. Oh my god, guys, I can't. What the fuck? Like, you're just spamming bullshit. I can't figure out what the fuck you want. I have access to the Zoom call, like, directly. You guys want me to pull up, like, another person's stream? I really don't think he's going to show up. So I'm going to have to watch this fucking guy that nobody's ever heard of. Because you guys are demanding that I show this particular stream instead of just joining the fucking Zoom call. Because that's what placates you. Okay. Let's fucking... The ding dong is them. It's not me.
Presenting yourself at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's representing
Count
himself,
one
as they
is
just
second
said.
degree possession, 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. This is in violation of Minnesota statute 152.022, subdivision 2, print A, print 1.
Ding dong is
The
not me, in
maximum
case you're wondering.
sentence for that count is 25 years in prison and or a $500,000 fine.
Holy shit.
Count 2 is possession of ammunition or any firearm with the user of controlled substances. This is a gross misdemeanor, so the maximum sentence is 364 days in the Candiwai County Jail and or a $3,000 fine. Count 3, endangerment of a child when presence with a sale or possession of a controlled substance.
Oh, he's
Again,
fucked.
a gross misdemeanor. Maximum
Do all your coke out, Nick, and kill yourself, you stupid motherfucker.
Someone has
I'm going to
Zoom
warn
bombed
everyone
it.
again. This is a court proceeding. If you were in a courtroom with me, the deputies would remove you. So,
I can't stop the Zoom bombers.
any
Judge,
violation of that will be removed. Ms. Block?
Judge, I just disabled people the ability to unmute themselves, so I will work to
Oh my
unmute
God.
people
The
as they
clerk
need to
did it.
speak to
The
the court
clerk
this
is a
morning.
hero.
All right, thank you. Aside from Mr. Ikeda and Mr. Kornahachi, no one needs to at this point. Lastly, I think I was saying that the count 3 gross misdemeanor has a maximum sentence of 364 days and or a $3,000 fine. Mr. Ikeda, you understand what you've been charged with? And second question, the maximum sentences associated with each count?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, I
Yes,
don't
Your
mean
Honor.
to insult your intelligence, given you are an attorney, but it's important that I know that you understand your rights here. First of all, you are presumed to be not guilty of these charges. It is the state, not you, that has to prove what has been alleged in the complaint with evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. You have a right to trial by jury. All members of the jury would have to agree that the state had met its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt before you could be convicted. You have a right to counsel. You have a right to represent yourself, of course. If there's a trial, you could give your side of the story and testify, but you also have the right to remain silent. Indeed, you don't have to prove anything, so you don't have to say anything. If you remain silent, the judge can't make a comment about that. The prosecutor can't make a comment about that, nor can the jury take that into consideration. You have a right to confront, challenge, or cross-examine anyone who testifies against your interest. You have a right to call witnesses and the power of subpoena. You have a right to all of the state's discovery before trial,
You have a
and
right to being ding donged.
including
The ding
exculpatory
dong is people in the Zoom
information
call
and evidence.
harassing the
And
judge by like
at the
pressing
end of the
buttons
day,
that cause
if you
sound
think the court
effects.
made some mistakes or a jury made some mistakes, you have a right to appeal. Any questions about those rights as I've explained them?
No, Your Honor.
This is a
Dude, he
Rule
sounds
5
fucked
hearing.
still.
Sometimes
He's
we
going
call it a
through
bail
DTs or
hearing.
something.
We'll set this for a Rule 8 hearing. Under the rules, you have the right to have that hearing within 14 days of today's hearing, but you could waive that as well, given your right to seek counsel if you so choose. Do you want this scheduled within 14 days, a Rule 8?
No, Your Honor, I'd like to waive that. We can combine it into a contested omnibus hearing. Does that
He's-
work?
All right, so we could, for
He's
today's
waiving his
purposes,
right.
combine
He's
Rule
waiving
5,
his
Rule 8.
okay. He's
sir.
waiving his right to an attorney so that he can do the bond hearing right now. Because if he has what he doesn't want to do is stay in jail for a week or two so that he can get counsel and contest the bond. He's going to try to do it himself. That's what he's doing right now. That's very stupid. You don't want. He's fucked up. He's a
Let's hear
retard.
what the state is requesting.
I didn't say it, but you also have the right to have me read the complaint today.
No, I'll waive it, right, sir.
All right, very well. Mr. Kornahachi, what is the state requesting as far as release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting $50,000 unconditional. In the alternative, we would agree to RPR with standard drug conditions, which would include no use, random testing, no use and possession of firearms, contact probation as directed, don't leave the state without permission from the court, remain law-abiding, keep in contact with probation, and other standard conditions.
He will accept that. It's very generous.
Mr. Rekieta, any objection to those conditions?
No, Your Honor.
I object to the $50,000 bail. I think it's unduly burdensome and in violation of the Eighth Amendment.
All right, what about the conditions?
Release conditions sound fine.
Dude, he is fucked.
All right, the court will set unconditionally amount of $50,000 cash or bond. Conditionally, you'll be released on your own personal recognizance. In all instances,
He got what he
you,
wanted.
Need to be
I was wrong. He
law-abiding
got
and
exactly
show
what he
up for all
wanted.
your
He's
court
walking out today.
appearances. Conditions are as follow: abstain from the use of alcohol or any mood-altering chemicals not prescribed by your physician. That will be subject to
The
random
contact
testing.
release, he may not be able to stay at home because he's not allowed to have contact with the other co-defendants. He can stay with his wife. They might have April leave.
Possess any weapons, firearms of any nature, or be in the presence of anyone with a firearm or dangerous weapon, and do not leave the state of Minnesota without prior approval of the court. Any questions about those release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. Did you say 50 or 15,000?
50,000. 50.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let me ask this. Do you still want a speedy omnibus, or can it be scheduled in normal course?
You rescheduled in normal course, Your Honor.
Very well. Madam Clerk, do we have a date for that?
I'm sorry, Judge, I'm just gonna.
The release conditions were either $50,000 bond or promise to come back to court and obey certain conditions. So I think he's debating in his head if he wants to abide by the conditions or if he wants to just pay up the $50,000. It's they're not asking for much from him,
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, in person.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, just to clarify, timelines are waived?
Yes.
And Madam Clerk, just so the court is aware, Kristen Pierce is handling this case going forward.
He's got handcuffs on.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So while we're waiting for the date, $50,000 bond, cash or surety, which means he can
And the
pay.
matter has been assigned with Judge Fisher. I'm looking at Tuesday, August 20th at 2:45.
Good for the state.
Judge
Without having a calendar, it sounds great.
Very well. Any other business we can conduct?
Now,
Yes,
if you have this,
Oh.
apologies. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I have requested to see two of my clients and have been forbidden from doing so. I would like to see them before their
Is he going to represent April and Kayla?
He's going to represent his
I'm not
wife.
understanding your request. Can you repeat it?
As two of my clients are set for arraignment today, I have requested to see them. They have both requested to
Oh my
speak to their
God.
attorney, who is me, and they have been prevented from doing so up to this point. I was wondering if we could get an order to allow me to at least speak to my clients before they come into their first appearance.
Gornahachi?
Your Honor, I'm not sure if the court is aware, April Multi has been released.
Okay.
And then I believe the other person who's referring to is his wife, Kayla. Is it Rikita? Rikita. I'll leave it to the court's discretion. They are charged as co-defendants. I believe she would have to waive any conflict, etc. But I don't take a position.
And to be frank, I don't know if that's a waivable conflict at this point, given they are co-defendants. But there's no request from the state that obviously they are married, so there's no request that they be separated. True?
Correct.
So it's not DV.
Well, it's an issue of denying counsel to Ms. Rekieta, so I will grant the request and leave that as an issue for Judge Fisher. At least to get us through the arraignment this morning.
Thank you, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Jailer, are you able to make accommodations Mr. Requeta, how much time do you need?
Not long, just about 15 minutes, Your Honor.
Can the jail accommodate that?
That'd be up to the jail administrator, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I would have to talk with the jail administrator.
All right. If they have any difficulties with that, the jail administrator, since I'll be in these proceedings, should contact Chief Judge Beckman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Since Ms. Requeta is not available, at least for the next 15 minutes, do we want to take the next matter?
Fine with the state, Your Honor.
Do we want to interpret the case next?
Which case?
The interpreter case?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going
that's
to pull down
crazy.
the screen. They're going to handle some other cases. I'll leave it going and see if Nick's wife for arraignment.
Yeah, okay, Chet, you are tasked, if you're one of these people watching this, spam me if Kayla gets onto screen. I was very, very, very surprised that he showed up, because I was certain that it would be sealed. The entire thing would be sealed because of the charges. I'm also surprised that he got the bond that he wanted, because his thing was that he did not want to consult a public defender for his bond, because in doing so, he would have to be in jail over the 4-day weekend or 3-day weekend, however long Labor Day is. So he represented himself and basically just wanted to get out as soon as possible. And he's going to try and do the same for Kayla. So it's definitely a conflict of interest, but I guess if the state doesn't really give a fuck, then he can represent her as well, assuming that she waives her rights and understands that there's a conflict of interest. It kind of indicates that Requeta thinking that that's going to happen means that there was no DV, and that they basically are going to present the same defense with each other. It's not going to be a thing where Kayla says, oh, it was his fault, I told him not to, that kind of stuff. Because if she was going to testify against him, then he can't represent her because of the conflict of interest. But which is why they warn you of that, because you're effectively, you're being prosecuted as a single entity, as a married couple that are completely conspiratorial in the crime. So that's the concern there. So I guess that's coming back. Let me know if Kayla gets on. The charge has been upgraded, and they've added something that wasn't on the public docket, which is what I expected. I did not, because of the drugs and the gun charge, they've also added neglect as an accessory to the drugs, I think. And the drug charge was upgraded from mere possession to like serious possession. He had more than a certain amount of cocaine, so they're charging him as a as like a dealer, like the upgraded charge that has a maximum sentence of 25 years instead of 5. So all in all, that's not a good look. They're basically going to be able to beat whatever the fuck they want out of him in terms of a plea deal. As far as, because his concern, as demonstrated by his decision to not get an attorney to handle the bond for him, is indicative that his main concern is to stay out of jail, obviously. So he's going to take whatever he can get in terms of a plea deal. And I'm still very hesitant to say that they'll probably try to give him anything besides besides probation and court-appointed rehab. I will make a prediction right here and right now. He will fail his rehab. He will fail a piss test or something. I don't know. Maybe he's smart enough to find some way around it, but I don't know if he's at a point in his life where he's really going to try and turn it around and actually stay sober. I did find it very shocking, how the alcohol withdrawals were obviously physically affecting him. He was not coherent sounding. He wasn't lucid sounding. He sounded very as if he were still a drunk, but I suppose that's just a consequence of the DTs and stuff. It was not April who snitched. So April's already out, but that's because she doesn't have the child neglect or the gun possession charge. So she has mere possession, and she didn't have the serious possession charge. So they just let her out. because there's zero reason to have like a bond hearing for her because of how minor her charges are. So she was just caught up in the possession. His throat sounds raw. Yeah, he will not stay sober. And he seemed kind of smug and irritated. I mean, like the smug has obviously been cleaned up a little bit, but he still seemed just like kind of cocky and arrogant, despite being in handcuffs and like a thing. So he'd be shaking if he had DTs. Maybe it was not Aaron. Okay, let me explain. Let me proceed on with my little slideshow. I'll just explain I'll skip a little bit. So useful mistake and others had requested from the clerk of court a incident report from the sheriff's office. Sorry, not from the clerk of court, but from the sheriff's office. And the sheriff's office supplied this incident report, which if it doesn't show up, and for the record, it is against that judge's orders to restream his court. However, I did not restream his court. I restreamed a lawyer restreaming his court. And that lawyer better hope that the judge is not pissed that he restreamed that court hearing, because for a natural person who's outside of Minnesota, the chances of that coming out to get me would be very slim. But if you are a registered member of the Bar Association and you're ignoring a court order to not restream his court hearing, you might get into trouble. I'm not an attorney, so therefore I don't really have to care. And I was restreaming an attorney stream, so therefore I really, really don't have to care. But I would be slightly worried if I was a lawyer restreaming a government Zoom meeting that a judge had ordered not to be shared. So let's see. Okay, I was going to bring up this. So this is the incident report, and the incident report is very interesting because it was on the 16th, so it was a full 7 days before the arrest, and it mentions all the charges against the two of them, or the three of them actually. And the really, really weird thing is this: the literal is possible child neglect or abuse. And the short description is mandatory reporting issue. I want to speak to an officer about, and this leads to a lot of speculation because there's a short list of things that are mandatory reporting in Minnesota. That is, broadly speaking, law enforcement and anybody who is involved in the criminal justice system. So it's not just police officers who are mandatory. Just so we're clear, a mandatory reporter is somebody who, if they see child abuse or different kinds of abuse, but broadly child abuse and vulnerable persons abuse, they have to report that to the police, or they can risk professional repercussions. So a police officer who's aware of child abuse and doesn't report it could lose his badge. A nurse could lose her nursing license. A doctor could lose his medical license. And so any kind of law enforcement officer, a probation officer, someone involved in the jail system, if they are aware of abuse, they have to report it. Doctors, nurses, psychologists, psychiatrists, they all have to report. And interestingly, clergy who learn about child abuse in the process of their ministerial duties have to also report. This, I've learned, is contested. The Church of Latter-day Saints has cited freedom of religion and won. So I think in some states it's been declared unconstitutional to have clergy be mandatory reporters. In Minnesota, it's still on the books. So even though you could possibly sue and win on religious freedom grounds, for the moment, it's still mandatory reporters. So the church seems like the most likely thing. You know, you have those kids coming in and out of church all the time. Actually, the 16th is a Thursday, so it's not a Sunday. But they do the micro schooling, so it could have been a thing. I don't know. They saw something, or I think the most likely situation is that even if it's not the church or it's just somebody else, I think that the most likely situation is that Recato was drunk driving and dropped off his kids in the presence of a mandatory reporter who noticed that he was visibly intoxicated and driving. And so they felt compelled to report it. And I think that he drives drunk commonly enough and probably drives with his kids because he reports on his own that he drives like an idiot with his kids in the car. So is it a stretch to say that he's going to because there's no way for him to drink the way that he does and then also fulfill his obligations and taking his children to the various places that they have to go as part of their microschooling arrangement. Especially considering that there's 5 of them. So it's not just one kid in a bunch of places to be, but 5 kids in a bunch of different places to be. And then he drinks continuously. So I believe that's probably what happened now, is that he DUI'd with his kids and somebody saw it and complained about it. If it's not that, then it's probably the clergy who reported it themselves. And that's my thought. This is about the docket. I was going to try and downplay people's expectations that Recato would show up on camera for the thing, but that didn't happen. He did actually show up, and surprisingly, he was like the first or second person who actually showed up. So I was completely wrong about that, I guess. I'm still waiting on Kayla. Make sure to spam my chat if Kayla shows up on screen. So next, I kind of want to talk about people's reactions to this, because Recato wasn't just some guy. It's not like Bossman Jack going to jail for crack. We're only like a couple retards like me give a shit. Nick, I think I've said this multiple times now, like just in the last month, but it is staggering. It is staggering to think about how much money he was making, how well known he was. He was making appearances in documentaries for Netflix, and he had 100,000 people watching concurrently for the Johnny Depp trial. He was making so much money at one point, he wouldn't even acknowledge super chats that were less than $20. He was the top super chat earner in, I think, the entire world, if not just the United States. He was beating out the fucking VTubers in terms of super chat income. Like, he was at the very, very top of YouTube in terms of live streaming. And he basically invented the concept of LawTube, which he was very smug about. That's why he called himself the Law Pope, to try and piss off Popat, who was a legal commentary guy. But he really, I mean, he found a niche, and he came from such humble origins too, where it's like, to begin with, he called into the Dick Show to talk about the lawsuit with Maddox, and then he started doing his own streams with alumni from the Dick Show like Sriracha, talking about Russell Greer. I started showing up on his podcast because he wanted to talk about locales and stuff and litigation like that. And then he ended up doing more serious streams about Rittenhouse and stuff, and it was just like a perfect natural progression. A nice mix of information, entertainment, and I think people feel like they're learning something, because the legal system is like a complicated machine that not many people really understand. So you can kind of excuse, listening to a guy drink and ramble about Russell Greer when it kind of feels like you're learning something in the process of it, and understanding how your government works a little bit better. It was just, you couldn't really ask for a better takeoff, right? So the first person to talk about, well, not the first person. Hold up, I have been sent something that made me laugh out loud, like a lunatic. Hold up, let me find it. Maybe I'll just leave this up. Here we go. Ceiling Cat has funneled in through the jail and is now talking to him from his cell, like, meow, we can get you out of here, meow. Stand on the bleachers, I'll pull you up, meow. Okay, so Jim made fun of him when he says and by the way, this is probably the single most base take that Dear Medicare has ever made. He says heterosexual Christian man watches one episode of anime and now he's going to prison. Just one episode of Sailor Moon was all it took. If you see something, say something. Anime is a gateway drug. So true. So true. I've warned people of this for many years. And Jim, finally, this is like a deathbed conversion. This is like a deathbed confession. Look, I've known this entire time that this Japanese cartoon shit is cancer for the soul. It's junk food for the mind. And now I can finally say it. Now that I'm free, I can finally admit this terrible curse. Very tragic. This was one of his early streams that people gave him a lot of shit for. I can't remember what it was that prompted him to do this. I think it was like 100,000 subscriber special. But he's in, I think he's in the kids' playrooms surrounded by toys watching anime. And I think at one point in the stream, his son walks in and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, I'm kawaii. I think people just kind of look past this because it's like a silly thing, I guess. But I don't know. The stain has never gone away. The anime stream was real. We all saw it. We can't unsee it. This is Megan Fox, not that one, who is a I guess you could call it late stage Ricada friend. Like, Ricada only maintained a couple of friendships towards the end of the spiral before he got arrested. And Megan Fox happened to be one of the I would call her like a wine aunt. She's like a wine aunt from the locals chat that was hanging out with Ricada for a while and showing up on his streams just so that he could get like a woman on screen for his audience, which was like brain damage at that point. But she blames us, I think. Let's take a listen.
He's dying in front of our eyes. Like anybody that denies that shit.
His soul, his spirit is dying too. And the last couple of times that I've been on with him has been really difficult for me, and I love him. And it's been difficult because he's not there. And I know he's not there, and everybody knows he's not there. And it's been really hard. It's just, when I first met Nick, it was during the Johnny Depp trial, and I did a stream with him. He invited me on, and we had such an instant connection. It was always familial.
Bro, he has a wife. I know it may not seem like it, but like, come on. If a woman is publicly saying, "I feel like an instant connection to you," and your wife doesn't immediately shut that shit down and say, like, "You're not talking to that woman again," she doesn't love you. She doesn't give a fuck about you. She doesn't give a fuck about your relationship. You need a little bit of jealousy there to filter this shit out.
It always felt really familial to me with him. I felt instantly connected to him he had such joy in his eyes, light in his eyes, you know? And he was such a light person. And he was so generous, so kind, so...
He's still alive. He's still alive, lady. He's just in jail. She's talking about him like how one talks about like your dead dog. Scruffy was such a good pooch. He was always ready to play. He had that light in his eyes. He was always ready to go out for a walk. You walk into the room and it just lights up because of Scruffy. Scruffy was with Beth's dog. It's like, Scruffy's outside, bro. He's just at the vet.
I'm with his platform, so full of joy. And what has happened to him over the last few years has just been so hard to watch. And, you know, those of you out there, I just want to say, who are like, "Oh, we tried to tell you," and we've been watching. We're not stupid. We've seen the same things that you've seen, but there are channels out there and people out there who have been rooting for this very thing. They wanted this to happen, and they
raise your hand by typing O / if that's you.
They want to drive him down a road to hurt himself. Those kiwi farms and all that shit. It's not about, they're not worried for him. It's about entertainment to them. There's an entire thing out there, entire like entertainment sphere around making content out of his downfall. And that's disgusting. It's as disgusting as doing what is happening to his kids. It's just as bad.
No, it's really not. What a fucking cope. What a stupid bitch. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? What a stupid bitch. So first of all, mistreating your children, driving them drunk, leaving cocaine and firearms around them in the open is child endangerment. That's a crime. Most people believe that that's bad. Making fun of him for doing that is not a crime. It's not child endangerment. And in a perfect world, it would wake him up to the stupidity and profound stupidity of his actions. But we do not live in a perfect world, and Rekieta will do whatever the fuck he wants because he's an adult man, and nobody can really persuade him otherwise. Which is not to say that encouraging him to go down is a good thing. I want to point this out, by the way. Russell, I mentioned he got his start off of Maddox. Maddox's career suffered horrifically. It's never recovered from the falling out with Dick and the things that Dick said about him. Russell Greer hasn't made anything because he's like so, he says in his filings that he's so stressed out he doesn't make music or anything anymore. Kata made fun of them too. Johnny Depp was going through a really nasty marital issue, and he went on stand and talked about a woman shitting in his bed and stuff. And Nick made his career off of that. I don't see, like, is it just because that they're more famous? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are much more famous and well paid than he is, therefore their privacy matters less. The sanctity of their relationship matters less. The things that they go through are less, important or touchy. I don't think so. I don't know how people can make that kind of like cope in their head. Like, don't you understand how disgusting what you're doing is? Oh, you mean the thing that he did for years that he made $1 million off of? that got him put into the news? No, I don't really think so, lady. Very bad take. Ethan Ralph, of course, has no such moral quandaries. He says, can't spin this one. Nick Rekieta is fucked. How funny was that fart on stream now, Nick? Ralph occurs strikes again. In all honesty, we killed the beef and feel bad for them, but damn. No such harboring. He was on good terms with Rick. He even says, I thought we squashed the beef. I was going to go show up on your stream just the other day, but damn, you fucked up, boy. I'm going to roast your ass now. Should have been laughing at my farts, bitch. Crazy. Wonderful. Thank you, Ralph. By the way, fuck it. Let's just skip ahead. Ralph is opening a Mexican tortilla shop. I'll speed this up a little bit because he talks real fucking.
What would you say if I told you I was working on a project to open a bar/restaurante here in Merida? Not for me to drink, by the way. Well, it's more of an investment. I wouldn't be the sole proprietor, but what would you say, Trollius? It's not like I would be there very often either because I have to stream, but...
I have to stream.
Well, this would be in the Centro District, which is the most popular tourist district in the city, and the most popular, just like, party district in the city, and like the center of everything, basically. Centro, it's downtown Merida, and there's plenty of tourists here. Plus, Acapulco got blown away by a hurricane as well, so...
Ralph's going to start up a he's selling pictures of Nick Rekieta's face on t-shirts right now, so maybe he'll make enough money that he can secure a loan to start his torta business in Merida. And then we can all go have tortas at the Torta della... What's the word for a pig? How do you say pig monster in Spanish? Torta della pig monster. We can all enjoy some margaritas together. That's Ralph. Ralph is happy. Of course, Ralph was a friend of Rekieta. Remember his epic takedown of Legal Mindset, where he said, "Oh, Legal Mindset." That's my favorite Ralph clip ever, of him trying to cut a promo because he has no idea who Legal Mindset is, and he doesn't really care about Nick Rekieta at all. But he's trying to make fun of Legal Mindset. He's just going, "Oh, Legal Mindset, Legal Mindset. Fuck you, bish." Only legal anything that I care about is not going to jail, motherfucker. It's just awesome. It's just so fucking weak. It's like it's literally like you ask an AI chatbot, like, please cut a promo about legal mindset for WWE. And it's just like, okay, well, he does something related to the law, I guess. Cocina. Oh, mozzarella. Finally, let's see. So the last remaining friend that I already spoiled it, that Nick had for his downward spiral. The last person willing to defend his honor as he chased off literally everybody around him over the months was Dax Herrera, Dick Masterson, Juju the Cow, a man who gets fucked in the ass while dressed as a cow. Dick, for whatever reason, continued to encourage Rekieta to drink, letting people know that he's not Nick's father. He doesn't have to show any kind of remorse or concern for somebody that he associates with. Basically, just kept telling him, "Hey, buddy, drink. You're doing great. Your stand-up is awesome. This direction you're taking in life is really cool, and I respect it." To the point where after his massive blackout drunk stream, he posted this: "Nick is letting his addiction ruin his life, and then there's a fat person on the computer." You get it? Because he's implying that people who say that look like that, and obviously they're food addicts as well. So you're one to talk, owned. And then a mere less than 48 fucking hours later, they're in jail. Yeah, obviously. So then Dick decides to just turn on him and start making fun of him. You want to see what his friends think about him? There are the faces of oh, you can't see. How professional of me. Here's the pic. Here's the epic. Sorry, I don't want to deprive you of the Juju the Cow's DaxiPads epic own of all the haters that led to that was imminently before the arrest of Rekieta. Then we have this. This is their stream. They immediately booted up because they don't stream. They stream on a schedule like I do. So they started an emergency stream to try and capitalize on Nick Rekieta's arrest as much as possible. They managed to get like 1,000 viewers, I think, were watching this live as Dick Masterson, a.k.a. Dax Herrera, a.k.a. DaxiPad, a.k.a. Juju the Cow, a man who gets fucked in the ass while dressed as a cow, and Vito Gesualdi, a.k.a. Christopher Gesualdi, a.k.a. Vito the Pedo, a man who is sexually attracted to children, who has admitted at multiple points in time that he is sexually attracted to children. They encouraged Nick Rekieta to drink and to pursue comedy as a career instead of continuing into his legal commentary. And as soon as he was arrested, literally within the hour that the news broke, they both decided, fuck Nick Rekieta, and they booted up. And Dick left his like swinging party, got into his car, called up Vito, says, "You got to pull out of that kid. We're going to do a stream today about Nick Rekieta. We're going to roast him." And they meet up in his laundry room, which is where these sets are filmed, and they decide to laugh for hours at somebody that they considered a friend like an hour ago. Because I mean, if he can't laugh at himself, then come on. It's very sad. I hope. By the way, this is like how many times has he done this? The only person that he hasn't tried to completely ruin is Ralph. And I guess that Ralph has like blackmail on him. I don't know what the fuck he's waiting on. But yeah, everybody who's ever associated with him, I can't wait for Vito, man. I can't wait for Vito to get to lose his usefulness and for Dick to post all the embarrassing, terrible shit that he gets up to. That's gonna be great. I can't wait for Christopher Gesualdi to be cut into pieces by Dick Masterson with an axe. That'll be very satisfying. Cool. Thank you, Los Angeles. Oh, by the way, he tentatively accepted the Sonichu medallion offer. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna have to get like a genuine cursed article to send to him. But he's not gonna do it right. He's gonna do it wrong, and then he's gonna cry about it because Ricada, when he read his, it was like a message, and then he signed off as Nick Chan Ricada-chu. And obviously, for the demon to take root, he has to say it Dax Chan Herrera-chu. And he's not going to do that. Dick's, for whatever reason, even though he's like super mega docs, he doesn't like to put his real name onto his podcast ever. So he's going to read it wrong as like Dick Chan Masterson Chu, which is just stupid. Obviously, the demon can't infest him if he doesn't invite it with his true name, because that's how demons work. And then he's going to say like, well, I did the medallion, but Null doesn't want to talk to me still. He lied to me. I did the whole medallion and everything. No. Making it known right now, cutting the shit off at the heels. You have to invite the demon with your real name. That's how demons work. Everybody knows this. Don't even fucking try me on this. Also, coping and sneating is the locals chat. The last centurions of the Nick streaming system, still giving him money for the streams, still watching somehow, decide how they're going to cope with the fact that Ricada is now in jail. And of course, they're going to lie to themselves. The reasonable conclusion isn't he's doing drugs. The reasonable conclusion is this is probably bullshit. So they're saying, their belief is at this time, not that Nick Ricada, who is obviously high on fucking cocaine, is doing cocaine. The reasonable assumption is that the police have framed him. Nick Ricada has said too many truths, too many unspeakable facts, that the government has now conspired against him to arrest him and eliminate him from the public discourse because he represents such a massive, massive threat to the establishment world order, which is just fucking retarded. I kind of had the feeling that he would try and pass this off as... I've seen this before where like pillheads will say, "Oh, I was arrested for having my prescription, but they weren't in the prescription bottle." Because if you don't know, you have to keep your prescription medication, especially if they're a controlled substance like opiates and shit. You have to keep them in the orange bottle with the prescription label. Otherwise, you can be arrested for having a controlled substance that can't be traced back to you. So I assumed that he would try to do that, like, oh, this was my narcolepsy medication, but I didn't have. I kept it in the. I don't take it as prescribed. I snort it, and I needed it as a fine white powder in a little baggie, because that's the most convenient way to. Like the orange cylinders are so bulky and annoying, and they don't really conduct themselves well to being a powder. So I usually keep it in a little baggie next to my razor blades. That's what they busted me for, and it's just bullshit. It's just the system, man. So. I figured that's what he would probably try to do, but I don't know. They're accusing him of 25 grams of cocaine, so which is a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to try to spin this as. I think there's 2 sets of images. Let's see. I'll scroll down a little bit. I'm rooting for Nick. This is Tiff Hang, so this is a why not. I'm rooting for Nick. This seems sketch altogether. Nobody saw this coming. Ricada was the perfect picture of a well-adjusted family man, putting together professional streams, speaking his truth, and then this comes out of nowhere. It's very sketchy. Oh, here we go. Archive 37 says, "That's wild. I bet it's his narcolepsy medications. They are a controlled substance. This guy fucking coping that he has crushed up baggies of narcolepsy meds that he just carries around with him that he got busted on. They're all just, well, this is my prescription. I swear. I just keep it in this Ziploc. I bet it's a bullshit charge or wrong place, wrong time. And April, that bitch, that whore, April, getting my boy Ricada, who didn't do nothing. He was a good boy up until her. April was doing something sketch, spelled with a C. Tiff is upset that people are making fun of a man who makes fun of people for a living. The lowercase I internet is so fucked up. And making fun of Nick's arrest on the fucking real. I know we make fun of him, but we care in reality. Duck goes Megan Fox, scumbags hoping to monetize. Megan is not on his side. I don't know, Megan sounded like she was about to cry over his dead body. You know the charge is bullshit because Nick's mugshot says, "You arrested me for this shit?" No, his mugshot to me says, "I'm fucked. This sucks." Listen, it's a sad situation. He's been arrested on drug possession charges and possession of firearms under the influence. How much more evidence do you need? I'm not shaming Nick or trying to kick him while he's down. This shit sucks, and I wish it wasn't the case. I don't care what you've personally seen. You're making accusations of hard drugs based off literally nothing but a county booking. The levels of retarded that should be relegated to the woke left. I don't know, man. Maybe the coke on his mustache, maybe the sniffling, maybe the cokey behavior. He read Anime Sucks, Cope and Sneed 9 fucking times in a row. Is any of this suspicious to you? Is this any of this indicative of hard drugs? No? Okay. My lived experience. This guy is like fucking insane. He's a weeaboo too. I'm scoring this one for team anti-weeaboo. This is how fucking deranged anime freaks are. It's just an argument between them. Nick will always bounce back. He always does. Hoping him and his family get through this. Lemon Saki says he hasn't had to bounce out of fucking jail before at Lamau, which is a pretty base comment. See, there's more. I like these. Lord of There says, I think Null was the first to post about it. Twisted Puppet says, Null is a cowardly, paranoid bitch. I don't know. I'm fucking right. I'm sorry. I would agree that it's not paranoia if you're right, okay? I'd love to say I'm shocked, but I'm not. Many, many people have been warning him privately for like 8 months. Yeah. I guess Art the Clown fucking redeemed over here. Twisted Puppet says they're all adults. They can deal with the consequences of their actions. Yeah, Ethan, I assume Ethan Manshiver doesn't know shit. Could have been coke, could have been the expired prescription meds. Seems like it wasn't the latter, though. You think? When Nick comes back, you better tell the fucking truth. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's do a poll. I haven't done a poll in a while. I feel like I'm going to do a poll. So let's do a poll. Will Ricada do a cope stream? And then option 1, get your votes ready. Vote 1 for yes, he will lie and downplay it. Vote 2 for no, he will fess up. Or vote 3 for the wild card option, he will never show his face again. Oh, I can't because I'm not signed in. Oh, fuck. Hold your votes. Do not vote. Do not vote. Give me a second. I'm not signed into literally anything. Okay, hold up. I want to do my poll. I should have had this set up. Kayla's on. Okay, I got you. We're swerving. Skirt, skirt. We're listening live.
Hopefully, when they start speaking, hopefully you can hear it. I think I unmuted it.
All right. We are on the record in court file 34 CR 24 342. It's the state of Minnesota versus Kaylee Christine Ricada. You are Ms. Ricada?
Yes.
All right. We've had some trouble hearing everyone this morning, so if you could get a little closer to the microphone and speak a little louder. Your appearance today is based on a complaint order for detention with 3 counts. I have your date of birth is March 9.
Yes, sir.
All right. The record should also reflect that Alex Kornahachi appears for the state of Minnesota. Ms. Ricada, your current address.
Is that my internet
Yes,
or?
Okay.
And you also get your mail there?
No, sir. We have a PO box.
All right. What is the PO box to ensure that you get your mail?
PO box 97.
And
sorry.
Mr. Ricada lives there as well.
He's muting
He's
it
also a
himself.
co-defendant with you,
Yes, sir.
and he would get his mail there as well.
Yes, sir.
Count 1 is second-degree possession of 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. This has been charged out as a felony, so the maximum sentence is 25 years in prison and or a $500,000 fine. Offense date was May 23rd, 2024. Count 2 is possession of ammunition or a firearm by a user of a controlled substance in violation of Minnesota Statute 624.713 at subdivision 1. This is a gross misdemeanor, so the maximum sentence is 364 days and or a $3,000 fine. And then lastly, count 3, neglect or endangerment of a child. Again, a gross misdemeanor, maximum sentence 364 days and or a $3,000 fine. First question is, do you understand what you've been charged with?
I understand, yes.
All right. And the maximum penalties associated with each offense or each count?
Yes, sir.
All right. When someone has been accused of an offense such as this, it's important that you understand your rights. Starting point is that you are presumed to be not guilty. You don't have to prove your innocence, rather the state has to prove your guilt, and they have to do so with evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. 2, you're entitled to counsel, legal counsel, and if you can't afford it and an attorney, the court would appoint one for you. 3, you're entitled to trial by jury if you so choose. If there's a trial, all members of the jury would have to agree that the state had met its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt before you could be convicted. If there's a trial, you could give your side of the story if you wish, but you don't have to because you have a right to remain silent. Indeed, you don't have to prove anything, so you don't have to say anything. If you remain silent and don't testify, the judge and the prosecutor cannot make comments about that because it is your constitutional right, nor can the jury consider it. You have a right to confront, challenge, or cross-examine any witness who testifies against your interest. You have a right to call witnesses and the power of subpoena to force witnesses to come and testify on your behalf. You have a right to receive all of the state's evidence and information, including exculpatory information, before trial. And at the end of the day, if you think the judge or the jury made some mistakes, you have the right of appeal. Do you have any questions about those rights this morning?
No, I do not.
You have a right also to have me read the complaint to you. If you read it or you're able to read it, you can waive that right. Do you need for me to read it to you?
Not at this time, no.
Very well. Any objection to setting these hearings tracking your husband's case? Or would you want a separate hearing?
I think I would like this tracking his.
Very well. We will set those and track at the same time. You can change your mind if you'd like. This is sometimes called a bail hearing, and you would come back for an arraignment. We combine those hearings for Mr. Rekieta. Do you want to do the same thing and then just set this for a contested omnibus? That's a yes?
Yes, please.
You're nodding, but you're yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Cornelhachi, does the state have any release conditions?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. We would
Go ahead.
ask for the same conditions as Nicholas Rekieta, $50,000 unconditional, and the alternative RPR with standard conditions. If the court would like, I can repeat the conditions I had asked for.
You're going to have to. I threw it away. So
No problem. So that would be no use of controlled substances or alcohol, random testing, no use or possession of firearms, contact probation as directed, don't leave the state without permission, remain law-abiding, and other standard conditions.
Ms. Rekieta, any objection?
No.
Very well. Court will order unconditionally amount of $50,000 cash or bond. Conditionally, you'll be released in your own personal recognizance. But in all instances, you have to remain law-abiding and show up for your court appearances, and we'll give you that date shortly. It'll also be noted on this release order. You are to abstain from the use of alcohol or any mood altering chemicals not prescribed by your physician. That will be subject to random testing. So I'll have you report to probation, sign their agreement, and cooperate fully, which means keeping in contact with the pretrial probation agent. You are not to possess any firearms, ammunition, or dangerous weapons. And don't leave the state of Minnesota without prior approval of the court. Any questions about any of that?
No, sir. Understood.
Madam Clerk?
Your Honor, that is August 20th at 2:45.
All right. And
For the
that's all
state,
from
thank
the Candy. All right. Is that all from the Candiac County Jail?
That's all we have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Candiac County Jail signing off.
Very simple, very straightforward.
Okay. So that is it.
That's what I just said. Get off my screen. Don't know who you people are. I received a message from an attorney, and he indicated to me that the fact he has chosen to represent his wife as co-defendant is a much bigger deal than I initially suspected. I suspected that there would be a conflict of interest, but he says he should be disbarred for trying to represent a co-defendant. Forget the rest of the shit he's done. That's actually per se conflict and per se against the ethical rules. It's unconstitutional everywhere because it is a fundamental issue with part of a zealous representation of your client. Part of a zealous representation is the freedom to throw the client's co-defendant under the bus. It says it's a blatant problem. Even if he was not also charged, he can't represent co-defendants because they need to be able to throw each other under the bus, whether or not they choose to do so. They need that ability. So if Ricada is permitted to represent her for wait, hold up. It's going to be up to the prosecutor to allow this, though. It may be a thing where they have to get different lawyers down the road, and he's allowed to represent her for the bond hearing. But when it comes to the actual trial, the issue that the state has is that if she's allowed to accept her husband's representation in court and then is convicted, like let's say they get the maximum of 25 years each, right? She can then appeal this and say, I was not given a zealous defense by my attorney because he was my co-defendant. And that's an extremely strong argument for a retrial due to inadequate counsel. And in that case, it would actually be the state's fault because they should be saying, no, you can't do that. So it might be a thing where the state, the guy that is the prosecuting attorney sounds very young. You can, like, his voice is like squeaky. It's so squeaky that if he was playing Team Fortress 2, people would be telling him to shut up and stop using his mic. So he's very young. So I don't know if it's like a lack of experience or if he's just permitting it for the bond hearing stuff, but there's definitely a serious conflict of interest in that. You missed the last few seconds? I don't think I missed anything. All right, let me end the poll. With 214 participants, 178 or 82.79%, almost 83% said yes, he will lie and downplay it on a coop stream. 11 people, and we are 5% of all respondents, said that he will fess up and own up to his mistakes. And a much more significant 26 or 12% said he will never show his face again. So, the poll, the votes are in. The overwhelming majority of people claim that he will get on stream and he will cope and sneed, as he has done many times in the last couple of days. As far as the release of their conditions, I think both of them had $50,000 or strict supervision, and I think that they will have a no contact order with April as a co-defendant. I guess they get to keep their kids. Actually, there was the way that they phrased it with Ricada was that they were asking for contact limitations, but they didn't explicitly say what contact limitations. So I don't know if that means there will be he's going to have to choose, basically. Like, they might sit them down and say that your charges are so severe, we cannot permit you to have sole custody of your own children until, you know, your trial. So I think that it was either $50,000 or supervised. So they might have to pay $100,000 in bond in order to not be supervised on release. Because if they violate the conditions of their bond, they lose that money. Yeah, I think you lose. I think the way that bond works, and it's a complicated, but it's like you pay. What you do is you go to a bondman, and you give him as collateral like your house, and then you say, "I need $100,000 to post bond." I think the court takes 10% of that as like a fee, so that $10,000 is just gone. And then you get like the rest of it back if you obey all their rules up until the trial. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I'm not 100%, but I think that's the gist of it. That's how it works. So if you don't show up, the guy takes your house and he sells it, and then you get the rest of the money back as collateral, I guess. But yeah, it's not either or. It's not either or. I thought it was $50,000. Let me ask. I thought it was $50,000 or supervision. Is it 50 or all caps supervision or 50 and the way that it sounded to me was that he had the choice of doing $50,000 bond or bond on recognizance and then also supervision. I'm gonna wait for a response because I'm pretty sure. It said or. Or I am correct. Yeah. When my chat tries to tell me things as if I don't know things, chat, come on now. Come on. You should learn to trust me by now. I'm not completely full of shit all the time. He can get out without paying anything, but if he chooses to do that, the conditions of his bond will be stricter. They will monitor him. They will drug test him. If he pays the cash, then they have the cash as collateral instead, and they won't supervise him. So if they make the conditions that you can't supervise your kids, I'm pretty sure that means he either has to pay $100,000 in bond, or he has to eat shit on that and have supervised visitation or something. It can be that cruel. So he's not in a good spot. if that hasn't been made clear by now, he's not in an enviable position. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to hear more. I'm sure. I agree with my poll. I believe that he will come on and he'll make that content for himself. I don't know how he can get away with representing Kayla. They're gonna have to find public defenders, I'm pretty sure. I think that he's just representing her to get her out of jail today instead of having to wait until next week for a bond hearing with an attorney. I feel like he's familiar enough with the system to accomplish that, as evidenced by the fact that he has. Okay, there's actually one more thing. I've bookmarked a bunch of shit on Twitter, and I think we can go through that now. There's something I'll save that for. I guess I'll just throw this in. No, I'll save that. I don't want to bring something sad. I'll just mention it later next week instead of bringing random sad stuff into my wonderful stream. Dude, he could stream tonight. If he posts bond tonight, he could be out before the weekend, and he could be streaming tonight. We could have Recato Law. He could even play his intro where it goes, fight, 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 fight. And then hypocrisy. And then he could be like, hello, everybody. It's me, Nicholas Recato of Recato Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Yesterday, I was arrested for having a little bit of cocaine on me and for neglecting my children. And let's talk about that. Let's unpack this. And he just gets fucked up on alcohol immediately. And his probation officer arrests him before the stream ends. This is all in my head right now. Oh god, I have so many fun bookmarks. Okay, here. Sorry, I'm opening them. You know how my internet is, chat. The kebab shop is bustling right now, so. He'll post, "This is crazy X Twitter message," and that'll be it. Dude, he's had all night to think about what witty fucking message he's gonna post on Zitter as soon as he gets out of jail. I might have to unblock him so I can make fun of him. All right, hold up. My thing is finally loading. Okay, here we go. Here we have, chat, an exhibit. This is a picture posted by Cassius on the Zitter. And this is a young, spry, youthful, happy Nicholas R. Ricada. A still very high on cocaine, Andy Worski. The Gunt himself, gunted, and wearing heavy clothing to hide it. And then the since deceased Coach Red Pill, also known as Chef Red Pill, sitting in front. This was a much better time, chat. So in case you're wondering, the fat one on the right has fled the country because he has 2 baby mamas that are trying to murder him. Coach Red Pill tried to flee the country of Ukraine and was arrested at the border under the orders of a tranny and then permitted to die of pneumonia in custody. Andy Worski has hooked up with Pay and the Stop Doing Blow. And Nick Ricada is currently in jail, awaiting his parole officer to decide if he's going to post bond or go out on recognizance. So I think that the Tonkasaw wrestling event is like one of the most mimetic moments of internet history. Like just the different stories that all 4 of these people who are like all hugging on each other in different photos have gone down. It's just like insane. It really is like a little capsule of the internet come and pass. This is a picture of ceiling cat in the sky, welcoming all the different animals that Ricada has murdered in cold blood to heaven. If you don't remember, I think Ricada first told this story to me in person, but he was randomly like rattling off about how he murdered a skunk. He had captured a live skunk in a live cage trap, and then he drowned it. Like, he didn't know what else to do with it, so he just threw it in like a pond, and it drowned. And I remember my reaction to this was like shock and horror. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you not just shoot the fucking skunk? Apparently he just does this. He just drowns small animals that he captures. I don't know why. Actually, you know what? I think I will, since we're talking about ceiling cat already, and the great ceiling cat of the sky. Let me just show this. Also visiting ceiling cat is, unfortunately, Doge. The Doge, also known as Kabu-sama, I think, or Kabocha, has passed. The Doge, the famous Doge, which has been used in Dogecoin, the Doge memes, Elon Musk's favorite memes of all time. He has passed at the age of 19. He was born in 2005, so this dog has been around for a long ass time, and it's very sad. But that's the terrible thing about pets, is that they don't live as long as you. So yeah, unfortunate. This is the greatest tragedy of this week, by the way. This dog dying. Everyone loves this dog, and his death. We will miss him. Much like how Megan Fox mentions Mrs. Ricada, who is dead, whose soul has died. We will actually miss Kabocha, the poor dog. Please look at the Fox 9 article. Can you send that to me? Somehow? Can you deliver this message to me? What about are you talking about like a Ricada article? I'm aware that he's in the New York Post, I think. While you send that to me, let's play this video. This was played on the Kino Casino. I'll play a couple minutes of it because it's not worth playing all the way full. This is the Ghost Behaviorist. who I think is the irate gamer, if I remember correctly. He has a unique take when it comes to the Sonichu medallion and demonic possession.
Hey guys, Chris the Ghost Doctor here. And last night I ended up answering a question about a online personality. I guess his name is Nick Rikita. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know who this guy is, but my reply ended up getting a lot of buzz. So I told everybody that I would do a video on this and kind of explain things in a little bit more detail. So they sent me some pictures of this guy back in like 2019 as compared to now. And if you see him back in 2019, he's very full. He looks full of life. He talks very well.
Dude,
and now
I love
his face is very gaunt. And his
I love how when people talk about Rikeda, they just jump to this statement. He used to be so full of life, as opposed to now, living Rikeda, so empty, so zombified. The faces of meth, just no soul, nothing left inside of them. It's like there's no coordination between Megan Fox and the irate gamer. He just looks at Rikeda and says he used to be so full of life. It's just like immediately what people think of when they see him.
videos, I guess he slurs his words, on the verge of passing out from time to time, and people are like, what is going on with this guy? Because I guess he's an alcoholic. At one point he put a necklace on, and I guess there's some theories out there that it was cursed, and could that do anything? And yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say that's the complete catalyst of it, but it could have, him putting a necklace on that somebody sent him that is cursed, could have opened the door. And if you don't know how to properly cleanse yourself or your space, you know, once these things start to slip in, they can kind of like plant their flag and start to invade that space and wreak all kinds of havoc on their life. I think somebody told you he divorced over time.
Is he talking about is he talking about the Sonichu demon, or is he talking about April, the Imholta, the evil April that got into his life and just fucked everything up with poor helpless Nick Rikeda, adrift, unable to defend himself against such an evil she-demon?
So, yeah, they can just get in and cause all kinds of havoc in your life. And I saw that he's an alcoholic, too, and that's kind of taken over his life as well. And the problem with this is every vice, human vice out there, drugs, alcohol, even porn, has their own frequency level that attracts beings in. They have their own frequency beings. So, you know, you have these alcoholic spirits around you, constantly feeding off you because they love that. You know, they're not living. They can't drink a beer, so they have to drink through you.
I think that's my favorite part. There's two parts of this that are really interesting besides like what he just says about like Rikeda. I like his theory that there's like alcoholic demons out there that are like really, really thirsty for booze, but they can't just like go to a bar because they're like dead. So they have to like vicariously drink through Rikeda. They have to compel him to booze it up so they can have some liquor too.
They're feeding off you, and this is why we see the life force kind of like draining out of this guy over time, because maybe that's exactly what's going on. Something is feeding off him. I've come up with different classifications of spirits, and parasite spirits are just one of those things. They feed off people, places, and things. So yeah, this is a thing. I'm dead serious here. Over time, he's also gotten talking about sex more and sex acts and things like that, and that's another attribute to this. You know, you get more guttural in all your actions because you have nothing inhibits you. You just throw it all out there because you just keep moving that line forward like, oh, I got away with this. I could do this and this and this and this. We see that a lot in our culture. And that's, you know, I lost my father to alcoholism.
Okay,
so
this is the other thing. This is not funny, like what he's about to say, but it really it really indicates to me where like his ghost hunting stuff comes from, because I kind of get the feeling that like his ghost stuff is like coping with his father's alcoholism.
No stranger to this. I've seen how this can wreak havoc, and I had a lot of paranormal things happen around me because I'm just open to it. When my dad would drink, things would happen. I would see shadow people. Things really got crazy. And so, yeah, the guttural thing, the life force thing, also just want to put it out there. When back in 2012, my YouTube channel was the 55th most subscribed channel.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I thought it was interesting that he basically blamed like the glasses being thrown across the room and the weird thumping he heard at night to be like demons instead of like his drunk father like crashing around the room. So that's the ghost hunter thing. The article, this is Fox 9 KMSP, which I assume is in Minnesota? I don't know. I assume it's in Minnesota. Fox 9 says Nick Rekieta, Minnesota lawyer and YouTuber facing drug charge. In Spicer, Minnesota-based lawyer and online legal analyst Nick Rekieta is facing a drug charge in Kandiyohi County. Nick Rekieta was arrested Thursday along with his wife Kayla and fellow online personality. Which apparently they didn't feel it necessary to name April at all. They're just like, I don't know. I guess she does some internet shit. Who fucking cares? Prosecutors filed charges against Rekieta and his wife following a secondary degree possession, child endangerment, and a gross misdemeanor firearm charge. According to charges, law enforcement attempted to execute a search warrant on the 23rd at Rekieta's home in Spicer and was greeted by a girl at the front door who would not let them inside. After Rekieta refused to provide the door code, law enforcement used a door ram inside and found Kayla Imholt, and 4 juveniles inside. Law enforcement proceeded to search the master bedroom and bathroom, where they allegedly found a variety of drug paraphernalia, including 3 small baggies that tested positive for cocaine, 8 green tablets that tested positive for ketamine, a digital scale, and several other items that tested positive for cocaine, charges claim. Authorities also found a 6-hour AR and several magazines and loose ammunition underneath a bed, a spent shell casing on the bedroom floor, and located additional firearms and ammunition in the garage, according to court records. So I was told that how they choose to prosecute firearm possession as an aggravating charge to drug possession depends wildly on jurisdiction. So I'm a little bit surprised to hear that they're just going to charge them for that, with the gun just being like somewhere else in the house. But I think that what happened is that because the drug charge is so large and there were like 3 of them, I think that might be why they're like, well, he does have all these guns in the fucking house with his kids and stuff. So I think they're like, fuck it, slap the gun charge on as well. It does appear to be like a temperament thing regarding the prosecutor. Police took Rekieta and his wife into custody, and he told law enforcement that he and his wife stayed in the master bedroom, where law enforcement claimed to find most of the drug paraphernalia, but allegedly refused to answer questions about cocaine, according to court records. Okay, so the drug paraphernalia was in the same room as the weapons, so that's part of it, I think. Oh, the drugs were in the bedroom. Oh, yeah, in the master bedroom. Okay, it was in the same room. So they were doing drugs where there was firearms right there. So I guess that's why they did that. Yep. Okay, my bad. Sorry, I'm not reading processing correctly. Before his arrest, some users had raised concerns about Rekieta's health this week, sharing a clip of him appearing to doze off during a stream. Law enforcement noted Rekieta had several injuries to his arm at the time of his arrest. They described the injuries as sores that are common with controlled substance users, charges said. Rekieta, who owns a law firm based in Spicer, saw his online following skyrocket during the pandemic as he covered cases including Kyle Rittenhouse's trial, Johnny Depp's lawsuit against Amber Heard. He has more than 150,000 followers on Twitter and nearly 450,000 subscribers on YouTube. Rekieta and his wife are set to make their first court appearance on Friday morning. Well, it is indeed Friday afternoon in Spicer, Minnesota, so they did indeed appear, as we saw. Cool. Well, good reporting by Fox 9, I guess, because that wasn't made clear at all by what I saw. Well, that does paint a much clearer picture about what happened. Pretty fucking grim, I think is the word. I like that someone said something as a reply to my tweet and said, "This is so grim." I'm like, yeah, that's a good word for it. It's grim. I think the injuries, it could have been track marks, but I think that it was just, I don't know, do you inject ketamine? Can I get I need a base druggie in my chat to explain to me how one takes ketamine. Ketamine's just like cocaine, right? You don't inject cocaine, you take it by lung. Literally white trash. Yeah, they're fucked. You can snort it. You can inject ketamine, but most snort. Horse tranquilizer. Dude, ketamine would explain why he's reading Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed 9 times too. Yeah, I don't think it's track marks. I think it would just be like, I don't know. I think that would just be like being a clumsy idiot fucked up on horse tranquilizer probably gets you a lot of bumps, but it could be track marks. I can't say. I'm trying to scroll through my the internet thread and find a song that somebody posted, because that's what I was gonna play for the outro. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more Ricada news to milk out of this. Should I do a Q&A? Does anyone in chat have any questions for me? There's quite a few people watching. If you have a question for me that you think I may be able to answer in regards to Ricada, speak now. I can answer personal questions as well, I guess, because I did have a kind of a friendship with him for a long time. That we were very like not communicating for a long time. Let's see. Let me get my thing oriented so I can see what people are saying better. He's dead. Get over it. Why are you gay? Do you prefer Sneed or Chuck? Sneed, obviously. I think people are just spamming, why are you gay? Josh, are you ready to wear the baldo? I think not wearing the baldo was a good decision in retrospect. Do a call-in show. Oh my god. That would be a disaster. That would be a horrific way to end this stream that people are probably enjoying. Okay. Let me think about this. Let me do one thing, and then I'll try to do something, and then I promise you I have a fun way to end this out, okay? Okay, here's what we're going to do. I've decided. I will read the super chats. And after the super chats, I will open... I made a Discord server to talk to Pay, and Andy Worski. And I still have that Discord account. I will do a call-in thing for like 30 minutes. It will be first come, first serve. And I will simply drag people at random into a call. And we'll do a call-in. I have not done that in forever. So let me set that up, and then I'll read the super chats, and then you guys can fill in. I don't want to hear all these fucking retards. Don't worry, I'll do it at the end. And it will be very short, I promise. We'll bust through this. Actually, Discord's not wanting to open up. It may be saved. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I wonder if I can set this up extremely, extremely quick. If not... Everyone connect. And then save. And then add me. And then I can connect. And I can save this. Perfect. Okay, that works. Okay, I will give you guys the invite to this. You guys can fill this in if you desire. I will take like a couple calls at a breakneck pace. And invite people. Okay. And I'm copying this. Hopefully this works. Does this work? I'll pin this. Unable to pin message. Oh, thanks. Okay, there. Now it's successfully pinned. Everybody pile in and spam. Maybe I can disable disable images. Embed links. No. Attach files. No. Okay. There. That should work. Spam this to your heart's content. The general chat will be a fucking nightmare, just so you know. All right, I will read the super chats and then we'll do the call-in thing just very, very quickly at the end for fun. For anybody who has a question, and it will be a shit show. It'll be glorious. I'm sure people will scream at the top of their fucking lungs. You'll have literal seconds to talk to me. Okay, so dashboard. I do not hate my audience, okay? It is an IP grabber. Do not join Discord. It sucks. Okay, just a famous butt for one says late and gay. I was not late, Stalker Child. Nice try. Sneedo for one says here's a 4chan auto link, and then there was a 4chan auto link. It's not a dragon. I'm not clicking it though. Angel Vomit for $20 says hi friends, and gee, what an exciting week it turned out to be. That's true. It was very exciting how Ricada fucked up his whole life again. Thank you very much. Sneeds Feed and Seed, formerly Suck and Fuck, I think is what that says, but it's very long. For 5 says, no, child neglector, it is you who will be felted by Medicare. Enjoy prison. It's only jail, actually. It's only jail. Come on now. Just famous butt for one says, caution terrain, pull up, pull up, pull up. Thank you. Stalker Child, enjoy prison for 20 says, Josh, real talk, how you feeling right now? I'd be wearing the smuggest grin now after every olive branch and advice you extended to that ingrate degenerate racket bros. I don't feel so good. I don't know. I try not to feel smug ever because that's how you fuck up your whole life is by being smug and arrogant. I don't know. I was right. I told them. I don't know why people don't listen to me. I guess because I sound weird and I don't seem like I am 30 something now. I have a little bit of life experience. I have seen enough terrible declines that people should listen to me a bit more, but no respect, chat. No respect at all. Stupid fuck for 5 says Wednesday made 6 months of sobriety for me, and I listened to your show from Tuesday at work that day. I'm so glad I never attached my name and face to the crazy things I did online. Totally shit-faced. Well, you lucked out, but for the grace of God, go high, my friend. Congratulations on being sober. D. Karsher for 2 says, Jersh, do you have a playlist or list of music published somewhere? Turkey Tom mentioned a list in your interview with him. Yes, if you I think if you just Google Joshua Moon music, you might be able to find the YouTube playlist that I have. That's the closest thing to a playlist that I have. And it gets, pruned of shit constantly by DMCA. Socks Skunk Fuck for 10 says, don't show this video on stream, you'll get banned, but I paid you to watch it. And then there's a link to archive.org, 5-second movies, Batman and Robin. Okay, this is fucking annoying. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to mute this fucking tab. I'm going to be real with you. I'm muting this fucking tab. I am old. I'm old enough to be giving. I don't know. I guess Ricada's older than me, so he just thought, I don't need to take advice from this idiot. Oh shit! No. Sorry, I meant to minimize this, and unfortunately that that made me join the channel. I did not want to do that. That's why you heard nerds. Okay, 5-second movies, Batman and Robin, and then it's a 20-second long video. But you did pay me $10, I guess. It's buffering, so it might crash the stream. It's a video by Doug Walker, apparently. It's like an airplane flying. It's in the shape of the Batman logo. Oh, I get it. So this is just going to be the intro, and there's going to be a gag. Still the Batman logo. It's flying Batman and Robin in 5 seconds. And then it says the end. Oh, there's a poopy butt. There's a butt pooping. Okay, so you paid me $10 to look at a butt pooping. Okay, thank you. I should really just disable videos because it's I have to buffer all these videos and they're never worth watching ever. Just letting you know. Stalker Child enjoy prison for 2 says it was really just gals at me. It really just galls me how he threw away every friend and support that people would kill for. He had a stable, loving family and trashed it for Coom and Coke. It makes me a little matty, to be honest. Yeah, I think there's no other way to interpret it. He just destroyed himself for no reason. He had literally everything that he could have wanted. The problem is that he never suffered in life, and I think people need to suffer a little bit in life in order to appreciate what they have. Stupid fuck for one says, do any of the platforms you do the show on have an app for the PlayStation Store? I want to listen to it on something besides my shitty laptop when I'm at home. No. I don't know what has PlayStation Store apps, bro. You gotta go to fucking Walmart and get one of those $20 or $40 TV HDMI things, and then you can put on Rumble's app from the Play Store, and that should work. Randall Babandle for 2 says, "Hey Jersh, long-time senior, first-time feeder. Thank you for the joy you bring to my hellish night shifts." Happy to help. I'm glad I don't have to work nights anymore. I only worked nights at the Whataburger a couple times, and it's pretty fucking hard. It's not enjoyable. TB Deluxe for 2 says, "Do you think Nick did his famous cop ordering at Denny's bit for the arresting officer?" That's a cut to when he made a joke to somebody that was like his friend. I think it might have been uncivil law, and he's like, I can't even repeat it, but it was just this most bizarre conversation where he tried to convince somebody that a cop ordering at a Denny's doesn't know what he's ordering. Stalker Child Enjoy Prison for 5 says, "Last comment, but man, imagine if Rackets listened to someone who doesn't understand human interaction and just got a fucking hobby, but no, destroys marriage and kids, I guess, and said fucking POS." He got what he wanted. He desperately wanted to have this lifestyle, and this is what this lifestyle looks like. Just flat out. He really worked hard to achieve this. All Else Fails for 20 says, "Kayla is just his fault. She had access to the same streams we all did. Anyone that loves someone would not have let them downfall live on stream continue." I agree. I think that she took a passive role in things, but at a certain point, especially when you're in a marriage, being passive to somebody is just as bad as being like an active contributor. Like Dick actively encouraging him to continue doing what he was doing was fucking insidious of him. But Kayla, like by the same extension, even though she didn't like encourage him, she like tolerated it, and I think that she had the capacity at certain points to be like, you are fucking retarded. You're out of your fucking mind if you think I'm gonna go fuck some random DJ from some nowhere radio station, idiot. Jay Snibba for 10 says, "The Steel Toe Saga has officially reached zenith as Mike David has foretold. Red Bar is watching." I don't know. I saw Red Bar sucking up to Dick, and I thought, that's cringe. I'm not sure how I feel about him. I said he was a base boomer, but if he's going to play footsie with LA-based comedians and his pedophile henchmen, I don't know. I can't co-sign that. Casting Couch Crab for 5 says, "Gabogul." I don't know what that means. Thank you, though. Pashmina Hamham, which is the name of a character from Hamtaro, for 3 says, "Hey Josh, I know you have a pay toll for YouTube clips, but this is only 15 seconds, no audio, pretty please." Oh, dude, come on. Look, it's just like, it takes so fucking long. It's not just like 15 seconds. It's like the YouTube page is still opening. It says, "The face of sheer disappointment." And then it's a picture of a soy jack. A pyro jumps up onto it and burns them. And then, I think it's a tranny in TF2 being trolled. I'll play the audio. Is it still muted? No, it's just not playing any audio. There's like a tranny VTuber that sees the guy that kills him has one of those signs in TF2 that have the soy jack acting, and the tranny VTuber like signs off immediately. That's pretty funny. I don't know. It wasn't worth the detour. Sneed, Speed, and Seed, formerly Suck, I think, for 1 says, "Ding dong." Oh, that's true. That's very government Zoom pilled of you. Sergeant Wizard Fist for 5 says, "Hello again, Yashua. My dog Rance and his cat friend also enjoy watching Nick explode." And then there is a Catbox link, and I believe that this will be a picture of some dogs. It's loading very slowly because this person decided to take a high-resolution 4K image, literally a 4K image, high-quality JPEG. I'll let it play on the side and then come back to it in a second. Kurt Eichenwald, Anime Basswater for 5 says, "Glorious Kiwi Emperor, 2 Ricada streams in a row, you spoil us." Hey, I didn't do anything. I can't take credit for his hard work. Thank you. Stalker Child Enjoy Prison for 5 says, "Holy shit, never mind. Wasn't expecting the Zoom call. He looks beaten and felted. His smugness and optimism from his coke streams just gone. He knows we and all he crossed are watching." Yeah, that's true. He's just gonna have to eat the shit, I guess. He doesn't have any choice. Thank you. Stalker Child Enjoy Prison for 2 says, He learned nothing. Unreal. Yeah. I guess you're referring to when he decided that he would represent himself. Yeah, probably. All Else Fails for 20 says, "First time offense. He is a lawyer in the community. Unless he personally pissed off the DA, he will get a plea and probably lose his law license. Possibly. It is likely that he'll be suspended and have to take like rehab as part of like keeping his license. But they go pretty easy on people especially related to drug charges these days. Though it is possible he's pissed off the DA. That's not like that's not a unlikely outcome. Holy How, thank you, by the way. Holy How for 2 says, very wise choice you made not to put on the Baldo, Josh. Hope you're having a good day. You're my nibble always. Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in my judgment. Based Orangutan for 1 says, for dinner, Nick is having the big Tyrone from behind in the showers. Here's your supper, pal. He did spend the night in jail with a Mohammedan from Somalia, so I don't know. I will not invoke much law, though. You can do that on your own. David S877 for 25 says, after seeing you on Kino Casino, I was amused that even professional streamers in a civilized country have more tech issues than you. Well, it's just Andy Worski. I'm pretty sure that they also just bum their Wi-Fi, probably also from a kebab shop, and that's just you got to make do with what you got. And in Canada, kebab shop Wi-Fi is what you got. One most depressed for 2 says, Ricada probably passed out drunk and then hit his eye. It's the only the top, but maybe he slumped over. Could be. I mean, he could have been punched too. I'm going to go with being punched because that's the funnier option. And Rand, away we go for 5 says, big ups to you in the stream, Josh. On a scale from just the tip to prolapse colon, how fuck do you think Nick Ricada is going forward? It's really hard to guess. Like, it could be anything from like getting completely stretched out by a DA that personally fucking hates him and has had like a blood feud with his family for 3 generations to like almost nothing just because because he's a first time offender, which is probably I think that's most likely is that they're going to go softball on him just because housing people in jail is expensive and it doesn't benefit society to have like mothers and fathers in prison for drug offenses. I think he will probably plead out to just like a felony. I think they're going to give him exactly what they gave Ralph. They're going to take away his guns. They're going to offer him a plea deal that involves becoming a felon with just probation and piss test, and that's it. And that's what he'll get. One most depressed for 3 says, you don't watch enough Intervention, Josh. He's not DTing Lamau. Oh, well, sorry, I did not know that. He's slurring, though, which is concerning to me. Pancake Luchador for 5 says, I hope this is a wake-up call for Ricada and you have heard about Eric July helping out. I have heard that Eric July offered to give him or pay for his rehab. Maybe he'll take it up on that. I mean, I think that there is a genuine path forward on the up and up for him, but if he takes it or not remains to be seen. I was kind of optimistic for him at this point, but PPP and a lot of people that I've spoken to are very not and think that he's too thick-headed to accept help. Unkind Nacer says, this is just in. Ricada was arrested wearing a fur coat and his women were arrested wearing animal costumes. He was reportedly waved a gold-plated firearm at a bystander who asked him to use a leash. Are you calling him a pimp? Are you saying that he's pimping his women out? I don't know. They're not that slatternly. I can kind of see it with April, though. Jackman245 for 10 says, Joshua Connor fucking Moon, ever since our breakup, I have been better. I've learned I don't need you, and I found a new man. Perhaps you've heard of him. DSP? Yeah, cope and sneed over that. Fuck you, bye. I have no idea what this is referencing. I apologize if this continuity is lost on me, but thank you very much. Happy to hear that you're happy with your choices. Osmium for 1 says, so Tard Warwick a week ago opined from his seat of smug that somehow Nikki's server hacking fiasco was a 4D chess move that was meant to get attention. An overall take from a rotted brain like Styx's. Oh, Styx. Dude, I don't know what Styx has been up to, but that guy's like fucking brain damaged. I don't know why people keep saying that we'd get along. I don't do well with retarded people unless they're like so retarded that they're funny. Styx is just a moron. Seek a Loather for 10 says, can we appreciate there'd be no sector without Grimma Masterson? Convinced that Masterson set out to ruin Mumkey Jogans, Ralph, Digibro, and Ricada, all to make him look good and generate content. I mean, yeah, obviously, he keeps these people nearby so that he can slaughter them like a pig, a fattened hog, when it benefits him. I hope he doesn't profit off of this one, though. I hope more people are aware. And then I don't know, I get these messages on Twitter that are like smug anime avatars that apparently still listen to Dick, which is fucking sad. Just a Famous Butt for 1 says, thank God the gosh darn Kiwi farmers made Ricada get drunk, snort coat, and bang some crack for us. I don't know. Somehow I did it, but I did it. Gay Store spokesman for 5 says, the Gay Store would like to make an official statement that we no longer be selling Baldos because of recent events. The Baldo spokesman's values don't align with our gay values and services. I'm happy to hear that doing coke and endangering children is not a part of the Gay Store manifesto. However, I am somewhat skeptical of that. Entropy93 for 5 says, "Oh my god, I can't believe Nick got arrested. I'm shaking with excitement. Do you think there's been buck broken yet? That he's been buck broken yet? I think he's bent over in front of a black man right now. Yes, I'm American, by the way. I could not tell. Your homosexual black African gangbang rape stories in jail went right over my head. I don't know. He's not even in proper prison yet. You have to give him time." Sneedo for one says, "I swear Ralph's tortas are going to be just grocery store ground beef shit." Dude, I think that you're overestimating Ralph's ability to get a license to sell food. Osmium for one says, "I wonder if Bix new Drexel is going to crawl out of the Coombe dungeon and Manosphere Gunnar cave to Gibbs his take on his BF Brackface rackets, or he'll probably stay hidden with these cuties." He might come out to Griff. That's possible. Drexel's a fucking asshole and a retard, so he might do whatever. Giga Cake for 5 says, "If you like goofy hearings, check out Louisiana Parole Board, the live stream on YouTube. Yesterday's episode had a black man lose his parole because he refused to pick up his pants." I mean, nobody can understand why the whiteys of those districts would want to segregate themselves from such fine people, though. Bunker Housing for 5 says, "Not surprising they went easy on him. They see a person who became celebs and could not handle it. He'll either fix his life or sink. I think they will be lenient unless he fixes his shit. Or probably until he fixes his shit." Yeah, I think they'll give him chances. I mean, like I said, they don't want to put people in jail. It's expensive. They can't make tax money. They can't pay tax. If you're in jail, you cannot pay taxes. So therefore, get the fuck out of here. Osmium for one says, "I can only imagine how Juju's show went. Hours of Peter Wood level ack sound like some tortured content from the CIA would give to Americans' enemies for interrogation purposes in Guantanamo Bay. He's insufferable on a good day, so I'm sure he's just awful." Cole for 5 says, "Thank you for the intro. Read the other day. I needed only minimal editing. Also, happy to help you get more money from Enoch haters. Please read 3 and 4. Okay. This is the appropriate stream to read more. Okay. 3 and 4. "And now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, the souls of men complaining, saying, Obtain justice for us with one the Most High. Then they say that their Lord, the King, thou art Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings. The throne of thy glory is forever and ever and forever and ever is thy name sanctified and glorified. Thou art blessed and glorified. Thou hast made all things. Thou possessest power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before thee. Thou beholdest all things, and nothing can be concealed from thee." There you go. Wigger Wagner for 5 says, "Morgan Spurlock is dead." I don't know who the fuck that is, bro. I don't care. Sorry. Womp Womp Elite for 3 says, "Nolo, it's been a wild week. Can you please tell us more about your favorite KFC in Belgrade?" Nice try, guy. My secrets will go with me to the grave. Sneedo for 1 says, "The Noble Weeaboo is such a gay-ass name." It is true. Anything involving anime is gay as fuck. Tetravax for $100 says, "Kayla is still salvageable. I can fix her." Well, you know what, champ? Now's your chance. I think that you stand a good chance of hitting it off if you sweep in right now. Good luck with that. Twinkletard for $100 says, Megan Fox Megan Fox, not that one. Blaming Kiwi farmers for Nick's condition is bullshit. Farmers were calling his shit out while grifters like her were pretending not to notice just to capitalize off his clout. Oh well, Josh won, Ralph won. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, she's probably trying to, like, alleviate herself of any kind of guilt or, like, involvement whatsoever at this point because she was, like, one of his last diehard clout chasers. But it's really fucking embarrassing. All else fails for 10 says it will all come down to how shady the DA is. They could push the possession charges to sales based on the quantity and gun charge. Then there's a short URL, but I can guess what it says. The fact that April was there and wasn't a part of the family, but was living at the house and doing drugs with them is also, like, complicating. But he's white and he's a lawyer, so I figure they'll probably be nice to him. Schneeberg Stein Goldman for $50 says, "Happy Pizza Day. Don't forget, Nick, you promised Nick you'd kick his ass if he fucked up. Also, here's 10 times what I gave the casino." Very nice. I appreciate it. Yeah, I did promise I'd kick his ass, but his ass appears very thoroughly kicked right now. It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. Space Allen for 20 says, what a week. I agree. What a great comment. Very enlightening. Yeah, it has been fucking crazy. Dude, it's so weird when you like look at you get tagged on the Kiwi Farms and it's like, Nick is in jail. It's like, oh my God. And there's mugshots and everything. You're like, holy shit. I gotta go to Twitter fast. I gotta be the first one to say something. Kyle Larson, all chat for facts. Says, sometimes I wonder why I concern myself with the movement and actions of internet retards. Today is not that day. Congrats on the courtside seats yet again. Is correspondent Ethan Ralph on the ground? No, Ethan Ralph is in Merida trying to set up a tortoise shop so he can eat more. Very serendipitous timing though. The streaming was like the hearing was literally at the exact time I stream. Crazy. Don't take my kidneys for 10 says TNRD. Total Nick Recated death. I mean, you don't have to wait that long, I don't think. Brolt and Sneed for 20 says, Josh, just as you spoke with the Sanchu curse, Irate Gamer made a video about it, LOL. Well, we just watched that. And yeah, it's pretty fascinating in regards to what is this, like a new one? So it's gonna take 20 minutes to open those. No, we did watch that. No, it's an hour long. What the fuck?
Hey guys, Chris the Ghost Doctor here.
Oh no, it's just a repost of what we saw on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, we did watch that. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I enjoy his hot take about Sancho Demon. And somebody needs to ask him, how do we transfer this to Dex? That's the real question. And by the way, the locals chat for Ricada is still coping about the drug things. Provigil would fall under meth and coke. 25 grams of prescription amphetamines is nothing, he says. So they're still coping. It was just an open pill bottle without the label. They're really overreacting. This is just a setup. Wicker Wagner for 20 says, this song is so legitimately sad in the new context. Don't ever let a fan make a song that's good for you. It only tempts the Sonichu demon. Ooh, this sounds like it would be fun. Is this? Oh, it is. It's a custom song for Nick Recated by My Room Records. Let's take a listen.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along with his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight. We'll hear some lost-plaining tonight.
This is fucking brutal. This is the new outro song. I want to play this in full for the outro. I've decided. Thank you for that super chat, Wicker Wagner. I appreciate it. You've usurped my plans with your precisional strike. Sneedberg Stein Goldman for 5 says, Josh, I love the Kiwi coins you sold years ago, but because of recent events, I melted them all down and quenched the molten silver in holy water and donated it to my church. Well, you know what? All's well that ends well, I think. That's a good choice of action. Action Johnny for 20 says, don't do drugs, kids, with 1 million exclamation points. I agree. I'm a sober Steve. It may not sound like it because of my vicious slurring, but yeah, my thing with my brain is that I always feel a little bit goofy and a little bit off, and I can't imagine wanting to intoxicate myself. Unless I'm like relaxing, I'm like watching a movie, I'm hanging out with somebody, and because alcohol helps with like socializing and stuff. Outside of like that, I can't fucking imagine. Like, I'm already so off kilter. I don't need help. Don't do drugs. Fill yourself with the Holy Spirit, as the Bible says. Sneedo, for one, says, attachment to mugshot.png on the Kiwi Farms. I see somebody. I think this might be a Bossman Jack, but this image is 45 megabytes big. Okay, I'll get back. Wait, okay, hold up. I promised someone I would show their dog picture. This appears to be the cat and the dog chilling out, watching Nick Recated implode. This image did in fact load in time for me to show you. Sorry to that guy who I didn't show before now. And this image is going to take another 10 hours to load, but I think you can see that a mugshot has been added to this collage, which is out of place. I will let you... Maybe it's the one guy who's smiling. I think that guy... By the way, in case you're wondering why he's smiling, it's because he just did crack. So he's a little bit happy in that picture, I'm pretty sure. I love the double chin, though. It kind of gives you that Ethan Klein vibe, because he did, like, double chin pictures. It looks like Ethan Klein on crack a little bit. Rand, away we go for 5 says, are bad for doubting you, Josh. The chat can be faggots at certain times. It's true. It's true. I'm never given enough credit. Longboarder 241 for 5 says, you may not have predicted exactly what would happen to Ricada this year, but you were 100% right with your overall prediction. Nick Ricada is officially locale of the year. I don't know. There's still the entire year to go. So, I mean, I guess we already are in April, but much like Nick Ricada. Actually, no, we're not in April. It's already May. No, it's almost May's almost over too. We're almost in July. Fuck me. I'm gonna be 32 this year. It's coming like a fucking freight train. Get out of the way. Choo choo. It's coming. You're gonna be. I'm gonna get my ass ran over. Toggle MS for 5 says, join the forum after lurking for 4 years. The first day I got a message on my profile saying, welcome neighbor. What a great community. Also, how do I send images in the forum chat? You use an external image host. It's postimage.cc, I think is what it's called. But you can't upload images to it, but I do allow certain image hosts to be used in chat. Thank you for joining though. Antero for 5 says, introducing drugs to his family is the most evil thing a father can do. His wife got the worst of it. Can't believe he is representing her. I'm a little bit surprised that she's willing to accept that. So I guess she's just going to be dragging her fucking feet through the trial as well. Good to know. M30 WG1 for 5 says, post on the Ricada thread. Give me a second for it to load. Sorry, it's still loading. Oh wait, it's showing up. Okay, this is an extremely big image. So this guy just like full size embed this instead of using a thumbnail, and then just like shrink it down so it takes forever to load. Ooh, I think that's what he did. He didn't use a thumbnail. Imagine not using a thumbnail on the Kiwi Farms and expecting me to download this. All right, I'll come back to it in a second. Cool for you says, Josh, you were invited to Nashville. Why didn't you go at the time? Where was I living? I think I was in Ukraine, wasn't I? I don't remember when that was. I definitely couldn't have made it, though. Waifus aren't real for 10 said 2x pimpy, 4x bape. And then this is a YouTube link, and I'm assuming that this is to a video that says 2x pimpy, 4x bape. Yeah, this is
You said you have a breeding kink, right?
Well, yeah, but 2 times pimpy, 3 times bape.
The talk of the pitbull inbreeding stuff has become the talk of the town for a while. So it may be the topic of a future stream, because it's very fascinating, the white trash underground of pitbull breeding. Jim Socks for 5 says, the Dogecoin dog, a Shiba Inu named Caboso, has passed away. Good night, sweet prince. Yes, we talked about that. Gormless Wonder says, using the Nick Laura. I don't think that means. Oh, it's an AI thing. He's making Nick images. Cool. More links that I have to open. Yeah, that looks like Nick Ricada in jail. It does say Baldo in his shirt, too. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Then I think this is... Yeah, you can see the image in the thumbnail, but that's about as much as we're going to get, because this guy did not use a thumbnail. I didn't say use thumbnails. Oh, sorry, I've shown my secret background dashboard to my super chats. Bleep Bloop for 10 says, you've heard about ceiling cats, but what about their attic coons? Their mom was kidnapped. And there is an Imager link, which I am assuming that every fucking post in this is going to be a link, which, as I've said before, takes 20 minutes to open because I have no internet and people don't care and they still want me to open their fucking links. And it's actually kind of annoying me. Trying not to be a dick, but like I don't know how many times I can say I just can't fucking download images right now because I don't have any fucking internet. And people want to show me raccoon pictures. I'm just going to sit here and wait for the fucking raccoon picture, I guess. Okay, I'll come back to the fucking raccoon picture. It's just not loading, bro. It's less than 100 kilobits per second. If your image is 100 kilobits per second, you can send it in. If it's multiple megabytes of high quality JPEG footage of a fucking raccoon, I can't open it. Schneidberg Steingoldman for 2 says, if Nick loses his license to practice law, will he tell all about Ralph? Tell all about Ralph? Is he holding back about Ralph? If he is, I'm not aware of this, so I don't know what more he could say. Tu Stickney for 20 says, is there any reason why Rekieta wouldn't have flushed the drugs while the cops were banging down his door? I think most people would have flushed the drugs. Maybe he did. Maybe he was too fucked up. Maybe he flushed some of it. You know, he flushed the worst stuff. He couldn't find all of it. Who knows? Gormless Wonder for 1 says regret. I'm assuming this is another AI image. It is. It's another AI image. I don't know. The fucking the face in his court appearance was about as sad as that. Don't need AI for that. That's real life. You probably could have put in a damn it, Nick, we lost the case again if you wanted to. Shrugbuster Bugs for 10 says rip Kata. Oh, he's not dead yet. Unless you're Megan Fox. Bot or not for 20 says, one thing that has always pissed me off about Nick and is completely inconsequential is that he calls himself Central Minnesota based where he lives in Southern Minnesota. If you're south of then I'm assuming there's a town. Well, you know what? You could fucking write him then. Write him in jail and be like, you know what? I've always hated you because you fucked up the geography of my great state of Minnesota. Oh, he says here, bot or not for 2. Twin Cities, you're southern Minnesota. Okay. So is Twin Cities in central and he's south of that, so he's southern? Bring it up with him. Bring it up with him. I have no say in this. Moranberger for 2 says, on the charge of the first degree boring, this court finds the defendant Joshua Connermoon not guilty. On the charges of second degree gay, this court finds the defendant guilty. Thank you, Hornberger. I appreciate that. Vordier for 5 says, drives me insane how much Nick has screwed the anime people who just want it to not be destroyed by leftoids. The anti-Vic people are dancing on Nick's grave, and they're right to. Well, at least Stellar Blade re-added the outfits uncensored as like additional cosmetics. I guess because... and it just proves that throwing a tantrum on the internet and complaining very loudly gets you what you want. It does suck to be Vic, though. Shrugster Bugs for 5 says, be wary of the Sonichu demon. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're sending that to somebody soon. The Ghost of Lotax for 1 says, hey Josh, as a palate cleanser, can you play the video in the Maddie thread of Cobes making french fries? It's like 2 minutes long. No, I'll do that next stream. Rich Wet Pasta for 10 says, when is your Shindignity New York review? I don't think I'll be reviewing Shindignity New York. You have to ask the furry. Deadless 812 for 1 says, did you really forgive PPP? And if so, will you be semi-third chair? I think it would be a good balance. They are really loud. Yeah, we spoke, and he talked about it at the beginning of the stream, and I think it's most appropriate to move on at this point because he made it clear to me what his thoughts are. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't mean it at the time, like when we had, I guess, beef or whatever you'd call it. But it's very clear that both of us want to move on. And he's apologized to the point where it's like, I don't feel like it would be insulting or debasing myself to like, to talk to him. So I think it's okay. JP Trigger Pull for 10 says, so smug, so felted. I guess in reference to Rekieta being smug and then also felted, which is true. That is a factual description of events. Sergeant Flowers for 5 says, happy that you are proven right about Juju being a snake. I bet Nick will downplay it. Sad. Yeah, on his return, I bet. It's going to be funny when he shows up on... I don't know. My question is he going to like forgive Dick and try to buddy up with him again and like continue his pursuit of LA-based comedy? Is this what his future is? Zen Suppa for 1 says, cute laugh, no homo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hyper Ninja for 5 says, pizza stipend. Ooh, that sounds good. Thank you. The Lion King for 1 says, I'm late and straight. Kill yourself. You're gay as fuck. My kneesy. Sneeds Feed and Seed, formerly Suck for 5 says, do you think Rekieta has any genuine remorse for what he's done, or is he so narcissistic he will blame everything but himself? He will probably, I don't know. That's a hard question. PPP thinks that he will take no accountability, which would be really sad. The fact that Kayla is still like talking to him and stuff, that kind of indicates that she's not setting down her foot enough. So I guess they'll just continue to be retards. Sneed Chuckson for $50 says DSP proclaimed he is not a lawyer, and behold, it was so. That's probably the funniest DSP related comment that I've seen in regards to this, because a lot of people are like, "How he outlived another? He outlived another," or just made fun of the fact that he dismissed Ricada as like being an internet person. But that is pretty funny. He's not a lawyer, and then boom, suspended license, just like that. Easy come, easy go. Thank you, by the way. Rich Wet Pasta for $11 says, more pizza. Also, when is the vasectomy New York review? Shut up. Jesus. The Lion King for 2 says, America, where troons and baboons can own guns, but booger sugar lawyers can't. Yeah, if you're a felon, you can't own a gun. Devious to V for 2 says, I forgot it was Friday. It is Friday. Congratulations. D. Carshore for 1 says, iFunny's answer to the bear conundrum. Okay, that's pretty off topic. Let's see. What about man, bear, pig? I feel like that's the correct answer. Would you rather meet a man, a bear, or a man, bear, pig in the woods? It's starting to make sense. Tall, brown, multiple baby mamas, unemployed, doesn't raise any kids, violent. I see. Very funny. I think it's just because they're cute and fuzzy. Are you cute and fuzzy? No, fucker. Unkind Naysayer produces, what's your favorite kind of venison? It is very unbased to not eat wild ungulates. I actually have had deer jerky, but I haven't had enough to like compare and contrast. I will eat more deer when I have the opportunity. Jackman245 for 10 says, Merry Pizza Day, brother. Take a slice on me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Colia Dante for $5 says, we're coming to build a tourist shop on that land. Dude, I can't wait for him to get extorted by the mob. Mario Carter 13 for 1 says, what are the odds Nick turns out so he can share a cell with April? Very low because she's already out. That would be a bad idea. Asian Tech Support for 10 says, Dance and Hams. Thank you, Asian Tech Support. Appreciate it. Never not fishing for 5 says, Josh made an account on Rumble just to donate. Really appreciate the streams. Make sure you do some fishing when you get back to the States. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I have no idea how to find a fish in water, though. Like, where do you go in the water to find a fishy? That's my question. The Lion King produces, in the words of Bob Marley, we got to ganja gun. I don't know what that means or how that's relevant, but thank you. D. Coucher for 1 says, speaking of pit bulls, I used to own a pibble until it tried to maul a kid through a glass door in its cage. Sent it back to the pound, bit a worker there, and was put down. Ard another to the count. Can't believe you even gave it a try. You're not racist enough if you're still buying those fucking things. Bunker Housing for 2 says, will you be on Gemstream? I have not been invited or have any reason to appear. So probably not. Sneedo for 1 says, Bossman Jack, you guys, I'm going to go back to BC Fuck Snake. I have not heard if he's switching back to BC games yet. I'll have to catch up on my Bossman content for the thread. Okay, so as I promised, I'm going to jump into the call-in thing on this terrible, terrible decision. I'm letting you know right now that when I drag, you better be ready. If I drag you in and you are not talking in seconds, you are gone, okay? I'm picking you at random. Don't even fucking try me, okay? All right, can I oh wait, I can't do that. Okay, hold on. Can I move you? How do I move you? It used to be that you could just move people into your thing. If you're muted in the other chat, I will also not pull you in. Okay, wait, here we go. Say something. Say something.
Thank you for everything you've done. Creating a forum and all wrangling us retards.
Oh, you're very welcome. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
just
it.
Say thank you. Okay, cool, awesome. Thank
Have
you
a happy pizza day.
I appreciate it. I need to. Oh yeah, I remember that before I would have to have another chat to kick people to. Let me do that really quick. We're just going to do this for a couple minutes. So the people who have managed to get into this, you should count yourself very lucky because it will be an extraordinarily small number of people. The Discord app is so fucked up that I can't even create a new channel. I just want to create a new channel. Oh, there we go. Create channel. Voice. Das. Because I'm just adding it. Oh, I created it twice. Do not join that one because then you won't be pulled in. Just letting you know. All right. Say something.
Hey, Nash.
Hi.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
So are you really tired from last night, given how you were up at ass o'clock in the morning talking with PPP and Worski?
No, I drink coffee. I'm all set. I'm good.
Sure, it's not coffee and like Soviet soda.
No, I did not. I've learned the lessons of Nick Arcade. I do not do cocaine.
Got one question for you. So I know you're probably leaning for the Chris Demon to go to Masterson.
Yes.
But do you think it's actually going to go to him? Because he's been pretty good for dodging that. You know, like having a broken knee.
Yes,
Like
I will. I will pin
like-
him down. I will drape the amulet over him, and I will force him to recite it.
Okay. In the absence of the magical demon passing over to Masterson, what would be the number 2?
Nobody in particular. I can't think of anybody else. Maybe Vito, but Vito. I think Vito will get what he gets eventually, regardless.
Yeah, this is true.
It's like I would prefer it to be Dick because he's the one that like enables Vito.
Well, Dick has a long-running thing of kind of just like neo dodging like all accountability for everything he's done and everyone he hung out with. So it's kind of just like he's kind of like overdue at this point.
Yeah, it's like the Swiss cheese model. Eventually, his luck will end.
But will it be better or worse than the shit show that Nick is going through right now in terms of just like sheer Schadenfreude?
No, he'll be running down the streets of LA naked, like in a cow suit, with like a dildo that falls out of him halfway through. It'll be disgusting.
So as soon as the demon possesses him, he's just going to do all the drugs, all the booze, and just like go to town.
Yeah, he's good at hiding the shit that he does right now, and that will go away, I think.
Okay. If he's so good, do you think any of his co-hosts' proclivities will come out in the wash?
Maybe. Because I don't know. He doesn't really have that many friends anymore, so it's hard to say like who will shit talk him. That knows shit about him, because it's just the guy, the audio engineer, Sean.
Yeah, but you kind of have to think it's like, okay, it's like a pedophile has a shit on a pedophile, so it's kind of just like, okay, is this really the hill you want to die on for taking down someone?
No, this is the last answer, but yeah, I think that Vito doesn't have anything on Dick. I think Dick maintains total control over that dynamic. Bye-bye.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, next one. I don't know how I could possibly. There has to be a way to like drag this guy into my thing, because there's like so many people in the chat. Like how do I like? Okay, I can drag, and then I wish I have no idea. How do I like move somebody into it without having to like scroll? Dude, Discord is like such shit. Cause I'm like trying to pull people. Okay, I picked one at random. You, say something. Uh-oh. Say something quick.
Hey, Josh.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for the excellent content in the last couple of days. I wanted to ask specifically about Ricada. So everybody, you've sort of cleared up that he did, in fact, defame Monograph. Is there anything about Nick lately that he keeps seeing people get wrong that you'd like to clear up?
No, I think that almost everybody is on the same page now. And when I clarify, it's not that I think that people are getting wrong the lawsuit, they just don't know. Like I think that people just assume the worst about Nick now, and but people just don't happen to know like the extent of what he says to lie about. Ralph is in my wait. Okay, sorry. Does that answer your question? Because I see Ralph in chat and he has breaking news. He's advertising his Twitter in my chat. Come on, Josh Moon. Open my Twitter account on your stream. What do you got, Josh Moon? Okay, let's see. You will be my designated co-pilot for this. Okay, it's loading up. Hold up. Let's see what we got here. What's this breaking news? Sorry, I have to load things like a peon. Chugging. Breaking news. Let me read this correctly. Breaking news. Charges have been dropped against April M. Holt in the Nick Rekieta case. Quoting April M. Holt, "My charges were dropped. I'm not an addict. Someone else did this to me." Direct quote to me right now. So I guess they're just letting him go, or letting her go. Ethan Ralph broke this from an exclusive scoop that he had from April M. Holt. So I guess if there's anything to answer your question, there's a misconception that April was doing cocaine with them or had possession of cocaine with them. I guess because it wasn't on any other person. It was in their house. So it's just like she can just say, well, I didn't have it. And they'd be right. All right. Thank you.
You think she went?
Sorry, I cut him off, but yes, I have to continue. There we go. Breaking news from Ralph himself, who wants people to pay attention to him. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So I don't have any super smart questions to ask, but I just wanted to thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate it.
Did you take your vitamins today?
I did not. I'm high on life right now. I'm just naturally awake.
Okay, good. Wait, when do you sleep? Because you were up all night last night with the Kino Casino.
I mean, there was enough time where I could get 6 hours plus of sleep. I just woke up later. My sleep schedule was like all fucked up just because of the late streams that I do on Tuesday anyways.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you stay safe out there.
Thank you. Take it easy. Let's see. This guy has an anime avatar. He's muted. I will not take him. How do I take? If I minimize it, does it like let me? Does it only show people with mics? It does not. It just shows everybody. Dude, it's so fucked up how I can't just like drag and drop. Why is it like this? Why is it so fucking dumb? Oh, there is a move to. Hello. Ness.
Hello?
Hi.
I didn't expect to be chosen. I didn't prepare for this. I woke up like an hour ago, but I hope you're doing well and you stay not retarded for the most
Thank
part.
you. Try my best.
Okay, that's good.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
Did 2 women in a row. This guy's called Joe. I feel like Joe is gonna be a guy. Joe, say something. Joe. Joe.
Oh shit. It
Say
connected.
something.
Hold up, I have no idea how to use this.
You're using
Can you
it.
hear
Say-
me?
Ask your question. Go. Schnell. Mach los.
Nothing. I got nothing to say to you. Bowls of steel. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Take it easy. All right, I'll do 3 more. The frog. Here it comes. I'm getting you to the frog. Hi.
Hello,
The frog.
Josh.
What's up?
Hi. Not much. Just wanted to say I'm a big fan of the show. Just a couple things. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First off, I would fuck Miss Rekieta. Secondly,
Okay.
Avon, please step on the scale. We all want to know your weight, Avon.
Oh, me?
No, Avon.
Who the fuck is
just
Avon?
a person in the call in the weight room right now.
Are you guys like
She's
bullying like a fat person in the chat?
Yeah, she wants to recommend you some books. I don't know what they're about. Probably about, I don't know, something. Maybe she's a big fan of Tomlinson's books. But
I don't read books. I'm not a nerd. Books are for nerds.
Well, I just want to say before I go, big fan of you, Josh. I want to fuck Miss Rekieta and Pantsu. Bye-bye.
Ew! Oh my god! Get the fuck out of here! Jeez, that's why I don't do call-ins anymore. Okay, Rekieta, like, fine. I guess she's like a normal person. Fucking May, that's fucking vile, bro. You're down bad. Ooh, I know who I'm bringing in next. Judy Tester.
Oh, Ron, hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to thank you for your hard work. Good intro. Thanks for staying classy with the internet drama, not dropping to the detractors level. Don't have any questions since you thought to answer everything already, and I changed my ironic anime avatar just to call in. Thank you. That's all.
Oh, that's sneaky. You have to blend in. You have to hide the power level so that you get chosen. That's a very clever, and it worked because I did not pick
I
the
picked
anime
a
avatars.
I picked a cute anime cat, or not anime cat. I picked a cute, normal, non-anime cat.
A real
I tricked you.
Good job. It worked. Okay, who else? Ooh, I know this guy. Have I already pulled him in? Have I pulled you in already? Jen.
Oh, I don't want to be here, sorry.
Well, fuck you. I'm trying to kick him back. What a dickhead. The disrespect. Disrespect, chat. Hello. Zem Pizza Lover. Oh god, you're very loud. Okay, say something.
My apologies, but I have one question. Why did you unmod Tweezy in the Sneed Cord?
Many thousands of years ago, there were I literally can't remember nothing about the Discord that we had before. That was like 4 years ago.
If you're looking for me to corroborate, I can't remember. But
oh
that's
yeah,
an
I'm asking what the
answer.
fuck happened. I
You
don't remember.
unmodded Tweezy, and that wasn't a good thing to do.
I
Anyways.
disagree. I disagree. Usurpers will not be tolerated. Goodbye. All right, I'll do the last one. This guy has a Let's see. I have to pick one. This guy's called Inward Spammer. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take Inward Spammer. I'm gonna take a risk here. Hello, Inward Spammer. Excellent. This has been successful. I am now deleting the server. Let's see. I don't know what I expected, actually. I didn't consider that as a possibility. All right, enter server name, Josh's server. Delete. Goodbye. All right, that has been Mad at the Internet. Let me double check, make sure I didn't miss any dashboard messages. I did, actually. Let me read these, and then I'll play that outro song. Gormless Wonderful One says, thank you for suffering through these super chats. Hope the call-in is a fun time. Good show, Josh. I did have a little bit of fun. That was pretty fun. I should do that more often, maybe. Selected username for $50 says, I listened to Kino Casino. Thanks, Archiver. Usually play clips, so it felt like you had to pause the show each time you spoke, and then it was through the looking glass moment when they replied. I mean, I felt like, it is kind of weird. Like, I had to kind of butt in, and then, like, PPP, like, just yielded, because, you know, I didn't speak that much, I don't think. I don't know. I felt like that it was okay. I felt like the flow of things was pretty good. All things considered. Internet notwithstanding and such. Thank you very much, though. Zent Super for One says, oh, a woman, I'm simping. Oh, no, I'm gonna... Noiger man, please save me. Look, I don't simp, okay? Zent Seppa for One says, Josh, you have too many female simps. No, I am simply... I'm a class act. I'm a general wide audience entertainer, okay? Don't try me. Don't try this. All right, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. You guys have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Try not to get arrested for doing coke. And I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye-bye.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan.
I fucked it up. I did the thing again where I dropped the hamster into the song, and I fucked it up. Okay, hold up. We're going back, chat. We're going back. We're gonna restart this.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps.
Wait, is Ralph trying to get me on? Ralph, nobody wants to talk to you. You're a fat retard. You're gonna die alone in Mexico. Get the fuck over it.
Get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plenty folks, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law.
Anime sucks. Cope and Sneed.